And
Did people think you were nuts for opening up a construction company during the financial crisis?
So funny you say that. So I went to my lawyer. My lawyer was like a father to me. He was my mentor. He's since passed. He says, what the fuck are you thinking? He says, why would you get into construction? Guys have been doing this for 30 years. They're getting out of this business. But if anybody could do it, it's you. Agreed to do some of these podcasts of, small stuff. Kind of gave me a list of different podcasts and said, what do you like? I didn't really like any of them. I said, I have the Burn Down podcast. I said, call those guys. I'll do theirs.
Oh, fuck it. Let's go. I love that. That warms my heart, and not just from tequila. I love to hear that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down podcast. In the studio today, we have this dapper gentleman, CEO and founder, King's Capital Construction, about a $60 million revenue construction company, if the figures are correct still. JD Summa, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, Eric?
Hey, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time, my friend, a long time, and here you are in the studio. No, I'm doing great. You're looking good. If we were about 3 years ago, we'd be in suits just like you, but now after doing this for almost 6 years, we kind of just got the Burn Down merch.
Yeah,
and,
listen, you got to rep the merch too, so it's.
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, he would have probably shown. He would have probably shown up in
I like
tank top or something.
Listen, I didn't know what we were doing.
As the show goes on,
if
if
you
you
sent
want,
me a sweatshirt, I would have been rocking that.
as the show goes on, if you want to even take the, unbutton the shirt, a couple buttons go down, the blazer comes off, the sleeves roll up.
Let's see how much tequila we drink.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
okay?
speaking of
see
that.
what happens.
Speaking of that, JD brought us a beautiful present. So, JD, if you want to bless us real quick before we get the conversation flowing, be greatly appreciated. So he brought us.
Boys.
So what do you got here for us?
1942.
Wow, Don Julio, 1940.
Can't be drank without a slice of orange.
Okay.
So now I'm very interested about this because I like 1942.
Yep.
I love Don Julio 1942, but I've never had it with an orange.
So why?
I always
why do you
drink.
like
I always
with an
drink it
orange?
neat. I drink a lot of. I drink it neat. Pretty much everything. I just drink it neat. I don't want to. I want to taste the flavor of it. But why the orange?
Brings out the flavor.
Is it kind of like strawberries and champagne, or?
I don't drink strawberries and champagne.
That's like I've heard that. Again,
You see his outfit? Does he look like a guy that drinks strawberries and champagne?
I trust you. I'm just curious because I've never seen it drank like that before. I'm interested.
No, it brings out the flavor.
Now, do you? Wow. Well, I'm gonna see you prepare it. Because I want to see this.
There's not a lot to this, but I don't.
Do you do you squeeze it in there? Do you just?
Bit. Yeah,
okay. All right. I'm curious, man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're smoking the Diligence. We thought that mild and reposado is a good combination. If this was like
Let's get this started.
an extra añejo, maybe we would go with the Fuller Bob. But this is I love 1942.
We do.
1942 is. So I'll tell you the quick story by opening this up. So in 1942, I was in. I'm at a restaurant called Blackstone's, which is a nice steakhouse here in Melville, and it's New Year's Eve. And I'm just sitting there at the bar, and I see this the service bartender. Somebody comes up and asks for like tequila sunrises, and I'm like, or tequila sodas or some mixed cocktail. She's a service bar, and I see her walk back, and she grabs a bottle of 1942, and walks back. And pours a 1942 and makes like a tequila sunrise with 1942. Makes like tequila soda with 1942. Makes this up. And I'm looking at her, and she does this multiple times. So the drinks go, and she comes back, and she does it again. And I'm like, who the hell is ordering a mixed drink with 1942? She's like, oh, these bigwigs over here, they just want to. I go, but you're ruining the tequila. I said, you're not supposed to mix 42. I was like, you sip on it. It's a sipping drink. You're ruining. And she goes, I don't care. They go, because that same drink that is, whatever it was, a $25 drink, now I get to charge them $125 because they're just paying for the. Damn. But I couldn't believe my eyes that she's making mixed drinks with.
Maybe they got expensive taste.
Yeah, but hear me out. If you have expensive taste, you'll know to just drink this straight. Or like what he's doing with a little garnish. You don't put, because what's the point of it? You can't taste it anyway. You're just going to taste all the sugar from the mixers. You're not going to taste the tequila.
That's whoever's ordering is just trying to act like a big shot. That's
yeah.
What that was.
But I'm like, it'd be a bigger shot. Just get the whole bottle, put it on the table.
Orange for you?
Oh, he's going to.
This is fantastic.
Dude, this is
a little service.
Look at this. I feel like this is, whose podcast are we on right now? He's serving us on our podcast. Is this
Thank
right?
you, JD. Appreciate it. Salute.
I make the first one.
Next one. Okay, yeah,
right.
Perfect.
So
All
I
right.
like to say on the
Gentlemen.
show, my friend, cheers, chin chin, and salute. Thank you, JD.
Okay.
Let's go. Nice. I love orange too, by the way. So to have this with the tequila,
It's
Wow.
a different flavor, right?
hell
You
yeah.
know what? It kind of it like with tequila, it takes away that
The edge.
little edge that
Yes.
tequila typically has, which I don't mind. I love tequila, but
And 1942 isn't that bad with that
Right.
kick to start with, but the orange, it softens it.
that's nice,
and
man.
then you could drink these all day,
That's
which could get dangerous.
So let me ask you this, JD. Do you come to Long Island often?
I don't know when the next time I'm going to be coming back here is. I'll tell you that much.
Because of a little backstory, how we got
Yeah,
you
this
here.
is the second attempt, and it was like a 3-hour tour. Gilligan's Island, 3 hours.
Sure,
that's,
sure.
That's what this was to get out of here.
JD was supposed to be on the pod about 2 weeks ago. I think we were scheduled for like 5:30 and whatnot. And I get a call at 4 o'clock as I'm heading over. And he's like, Eric, the traffic here is saying about 2.5 hours. And I said, when did you leave? He's like, I just left. I said, you must not come to Long Island that often because, my friend, that's rush hour traffic.
Yeah,
So we are here now. I think you left at 8 a.m. this morning just to make sure you were here.
because in my defense, on that time, when I checked it in the morning, it was only an hour and a half. I would have made it.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to leave at 8 a.m. today.
Yeah, you can never tell with Long Island. It's one way in, one way out.
Well, we appreciate you making the trek.
Yeah.
Okay, we're excited to have you here.
Smart
But
move.
listen, we appreciate you coming here. We're excited to get into this conversation. We want to hear all about how you got into business. I mean, you've built an incredible business from the ground up, and it's what $60 million plus in revenue at this point.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus. Okay, I'm assuming maybe the goal is 100 million in some time, but
I don't know about that. I'll be honest.
Who knows?
I don't always want to be in a growth phase. I think we're pretty good where we are, and I have ancillary businesses that really are what my priority is. My focus has changed a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
I started a fund a couple of years ago that really is where I want to focus my attention and on more development.
Gotcha.
The construction, it's a tough business.
It certainly is.
So tell
And
let's
it's not getting any easier.
yeah. So let's tell us about how did you get? I mean, where did you start? How did you get into construction? Because like you said, construction is a tough business.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in construction, but maybe not owning a construction. So how did you work in construction and then
Nothing.
hop out of it? How'd you
No.
get into that?
No.
And we got plenty of time, okay? So
Yeah,
don't spare any details. Tell us the
So
full.
I gotta see how I want to explain this.
Because you started it around the financial crash, if I remember correctly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about the mindset of that.
I just love the comment of I got to figure out see how I explain this. See, so the company's actually it's in my mother's name, but it's saying we can.
So it's kind of like that. Yeah, similar story. So I was in real estate for some years from when I was young, about 20 years old. I got into real estate. That was interesting. I started as a real estate agent, and I went to a listing in the Bronx, and the lady took a liking to me, and she said, "Why don't you assume my mortgage?" And I didn't even know what that meant. I was 20 years old. And once I looked into it, basically I could buy this house for nothing. No money down. I just assumed the mortgage.
Just take over the payments.
Take over the payments. And I was 20, so I didn't have credit at the time, and I brought in a partner who did, and we assumed the mortgage. We sold that house, made $100,000, plus or minus on that in about a year. It did it again, and I said, well, this is a good business. So I like this. And around 2007, when the market crashed, so I kept going with, different investments, and I was rehabbing, flipping houses. We were doing some subdivisions, things like that. And then the market tanked, and I took a little time off. And in 2009, I got with my current partner, and I said, all right, we're going to start a construction company. And I said, but I'm not going to swing a hammer, Mike. He said, God, please no. We don't want that. So we started the company, and it was never my intention to do houses. At that point, I wanted to move on to commercial stuff, bigger things. And houses when you're building houses or doing renovations for houses, that's somebody's, that's really they're everything that they have, right? They're emotionally invested.
Yeah. It's you're not building a house, you're building a home.
You're building a home, right? So it's very different from commercial construction, where like this is just it's transactional.
Yeah.
Right?
It is what it is. There's not so much feeling and emotion behind
Build me a building.
I need a building. How much is it going to cost? Build a building.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from the start, that's what I wanted to do. And as the economy got a little bit better, the jobs got bigger. We hooked up with a national REIT, and they gave me, in 2013, at this point now, 2 of our largest jobs concurrently, where we were extending 2 shopping centers for them. And it was about $6 million in total between the 2 projects. And we had deadlines on it, and we were working round the clock. I'll tell you a funny story with one of those. And you know, that's really when the company started to take off, and projects got bigger. And then eventually I got back into development, doing stuff on my own, and that's really where we are now. So it's about 50-50 of our own projects and projects for others. And we also self-perform all of the ground down stuff. So we have the machinery and the trucks and all of that, because that's what my partner's background was.
Okay.
So, you know, between those 3 things, we do site work, we do ground up construction, and then development. And
Did people think you were nuts for opening up a construction company during the financial crisis?
So funny you say that. So I went to my lawyer, and my lawyer was like a father to me. He was my mentor. He's since passed, and he used to yell at me. I used to get in a lot of trouble at that time. And he came in and he says, "What the fuck are you thinking?" He said, "Why would you get into construction? Guys have been doing this for 30 years. They're getting out of this business." And then after he gave me his little spiel, he took a step back and he says, "You know what? But if anybody could do it, it's you." He said, "If you make it out of the other side of this recession, you're going to be in a great place." And unfortunately, he didn't make it long enough to see that happen. But I run into his wife from time to time, and she tells me all the time, "Kevin's with you. He's watching, and he's very proud of you."
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was the timing, because it allowed us, although that was, you know, people were getting out of construction, we started. There were smaller projects, and we thought we were doing great, right? Everybody would ask, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, I'm so busy," and I had, you know, multiple projects. We weren't really making money, but we were busy, right? And we made a living at that time, and that's really all I was looking for, and it just grew exponentially, and you know, it was kind of unexpected. I really did not have the vision. I wish I could say like this was the plan.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Along.
It just kind of
it did not. It was not. It was
just
not.
You're figuring it out as you go along.
I wanted something that was going to keep me out of trouble, and you know, that might be a story for another day. But that's where I was coming from.
Maybe a story for the end of this bottle.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Depending on how good we're feeling.
Yeah. So that was the intent, and I didn't have this plan in mind, and it's just evolved to this.
Were you John, kind of just, you know, swinging, or what's the phrase?
Flying by the seat of your pants.
Thank you. Exactly the phrase I was looking for. Flying by the seat of your pants.
This is why, you know, you can't tell why we're partners.
I can see you guys have done this before.
So was it just like you kind of taking it day by day, learning, you know, contractual obligation and contractors do this and do that, or how was that process like?
Eric, as I'm driving out here, I'm having a conversation with another partner of mine on another venture that we have right now, and the conversation is about whether we're going to hire this consultant who's going to help us. And I said to him, literally, 15 years ago, when I started King's Capital, if I had a mentor or I had a consultant or I had somebody who could have stopped me from making all of the mistakes that I made, I would be a fucking billionaire right now. Because I made so many mistakes. I knew nothing about construction. I still can't hang a fucking picture on the wall if you ask me to.
But
that's not what I do.
Exactly.
But
that's not what you do.
But even to get to where I was, I didn't know the language, I didn't know the lingo, I didn't know any of these things. And that's a mistake. I would not recommend, you know, anybody, if you could find somebody that can help you, that's been down this road. None of us are reinventing the wheel in anything that we're doing, right? We're not scientists, we're not innovators in that sense. So somebody's done this before, and they've done it at a high level. And I never thought of it back then. It wasn't something that you did back then, though. Like now you hear about it all the time, right? That social media talks about mentors and coaches and all of these things.
And you got to be careful because a lot of it's,
it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Half of it is bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you didn't do those mistakes, and if you had all that knowledge, I feel like it could have been maybe not as successful because I'm assuming you learned a lot from all those mistakes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think
made.
that you think that it's more sustainable now because you've learned the hard way, if you will?
So I get that, right? We always say that our mistakes shape us, and you wouldn't change things in your life because it got you to where you are right now, and that's true to a point. But I got to tell you, I would have done it. There's been a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of heartache and headaches that I would have liked to have avoided.
Sure. That's that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
But I think.
But then you could also think about it too. Like if you had somebody to teach you about those mistakes, and you said, "Oh, I would have been a billionaire," but then maybe there's billionaire mistakes that you would have had to have made at some point. So you made these mistakes early on to get to where you are. And maybe if you didn't make those mistakes, you would have made some different mistakes later on. So like we had talked about before, is divine intervention. Everything's happening for a reason to put you on the path, that the big man has in store for you. And so I always think, like, listen, it's there's no I could have done it that way. No, this is the way that I was supposed to.
I agree with that. It is.
Learn it, okay?
It is, and I'm not complaining. I'm just
in
retrospect.
Right.
If I would have done it differently.
Yeah.
If I had thought about it or known it. It was a different time. I don't want to sound like I'm fucking 80 years old here. It was a different time, but it was
a different time 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
things are changing quick.
What was the biggest aha moment from one, like the biggest mistake that you made that you learned from? Like, oh shit, that's a huge learning.
Oh,
experience.
this morning.
Yeah,
this morning when
this morning,
There's always something. The biggest aha moment. I can't name one. There's not one that comes to the top of my head, but it was just continual little things that you continue to learn from.
And what was your partner? What was his background?
My partner is a machine operator, right? So that's he was in an excavator moving dirt his whole life, and that's how we started this partnership. And then as the company grew, obviously he's not in a machine anymore, but he oversees operations and he's out in the field. And basically where a line gets drawn is I'll get to work, I'll find the work, I'll underwrite development deals or things of that nature, get the contracts in place, all of that stuff. Once we put a shovel in the ground or we go to work, I generally back off. And I say all the time to the guys, if I show up on a job site, that means something went wrong. Like, there's hundreds of jobs that we've done that I don't even know where they are. Like, I've never seen them, I've never been to them. And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't get a tremendous amount of pride from seeing the work get done or things like that, where a lot of people in construction, they do, right? They love seeing. I like the end product, of course.
Yeah.
Right?
You had said you're like, I don't want to swing a hammer.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I have no interest in learning how we get from A to Z inside the building, right? I like the bigger picture of it. I like the deals. I like structuring the projects, whether it's a development deal or construction. I like negotiating. And then, of course, I like seeing it come to fruition and saying, okay, well, we did that. But how we got there, like, sometimes my partner will have a call or we're in person and he's talking to me about this HVAC guy didn't show up and this happened and that happened. And, I let him talk and, he's venting to me. But
just going in one
half the time I don't know what he's saying. The other half the time I'm not really listening to it. We're going to edit that part.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true because, in the business that I'm in too, I was telling you, being like the management, sales management, you have some of these guys that are the technical guys, and you'll be going to a customer, whatever, and you're trying to negotiate deals and trying to figure out, here's the pricing, and being the sales guy, I only care about the pricing. Like, I care about how many pieces you're gonna buy, what's the pricing, what's your schedule looking like, blah blah. But sometimes you get on these calls and these guys are telling you about, well, they got this technical, and they're diving into the technicals. And I have a little bit of a technical background that I come from, but it's more on like a power technicals, not so much like the computers and the computer architecture and all this other crap. But they start talking yap, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. I said, I'm not really a technical guy, so I can't answer that question. But I can give you somebody who can. But
no, I mean,
it's just
I align with both you guys.
About.
I'm in sales as well. I'm in for the chase. I love chasing it down. I love working the deal.
And the kill.
Getting the kill. That's
you like the
creating
hunt.
your own destiny.
You like the hunt.
The hunt is the best part.
Yeah, you're like a lion in the wild. Man.
And sometimes you get to the end and you're like, all right, I got it, but like. It's not. It wasn't the feeling of getting it. Isn't the same as like chasing after it, working it, and you finally get to.
I kind of relate. I kind of look at it like. Sports too. I was a big sports guy. Were you a sports guy growing up?
Very big. Yeah.
Very big. Right. Playing sports, and I think that all kids growing up, like you should play sports because it teaches you a lot about life.
Yep.
Right. There's winners and there's losers. Right. You win and you lose. Okay. And when you lose, you have to learn what you did wrong, and you have to work harder so that you can win the next time. I said it teaches you how to be coachable, teaches you how to be part of a team. It teaches you the hard work, putting in the effort, right? When you're a young guy, you're not getting any playing time. Well, you got to work hard, practice. It teaches you a lot of things. But when you take into the business side of things, that winning aspect, like I'm super competitive, and I love to win. I hate to lose. I don't care if we're playing a freaking board game at family Thanksgiving. I'm playing that game to win. I'm not playing just to play. I'm going to win that effing game, okay? So when you get into like the sales side
you play to win the game.
You play to win the game, okay? So I think of it the same way in business is that hunt, that chase. You're trying to win. Like, I want to win. I want to win that deal, okay? I don't want to lose to everybody. I'm going to win that deal. It's being competitive in that nature, which sports teaches you. Now, you got a participation for coming in 15th place.
Oh, fuck that.
No, you came in last, okay? There's first, second, and third. That's the Olympics, all right? Gold, silver, bronze. You don't get a participation for 15th place, okay?
Yep.
Work harder so you can get the trophy. Not everybody gets a trophy, okay? Because in the real world, if you come in 15th place, you get fired.
Yeah.
You don't get a participation trophy.
100%.
Anyway, that's I can rant about that for a while.
I tell my kids you're going to play a team sport. And they do, right? And but I want to make sure throughout high school and whatever they play a team sport. And when I go outside and I play basketball with them or baseball with my son or whatever I'm doing, I don't let them win.
No,
I play chess with my son. I don't let him win.
Earn it.
You got to earn it, right? And a couple times he said to me, "Am I ever going to beat you?" I said, "Yeah," because exactly what we're doing right now. Because you are going to want to beat me that bad.
Yes.
You're going to keep practicing. You're going to keep playing harder until you could beat me. And I'm slowing down, so you'll.
And when he does, he'll appreciate it that much more because he knows
that it was real.
Yes, Daddy didn't just hand it to me. I actually beat him. I earned it, and that's the same like in any like going into high school, whatever, right? When you're trying to get the playing time and you're not getting the playing time, and the parents go to the coaches, "Oh, why is my son not playing?" Well, your son's not as good as everybody else. Oh, I paid for him to be here. He should play. Like, no, the best players play. So if he wants to play, tell him to work in the off season, and then when he comes back and now he's getting playing time, now he's a starter, and now you know he earned it. I wasn't just handed this. I'm better than them. You have to force the coach's hand, make him have to play you. That's what my dad said when I was younger. He's like, make him have to play, make him have no choice. That you're the best player on the team, he has to play you.
It's true.
Yeah,
and that's how you win. That's how you win everything.
Once you get to modified sports and high school and stuff like that, I coach CYO and Little League and all of those things. They're not there yet, but now my daughter's going to be 12. Now she's going to be playing modified, and that's where it starts. You have to try out for the team. You make the team, and only the skilled players are going to be the ones that are on the court.
I remember being in that same level. It was like AAU, the travel teams. I remember my coach was saying the first practice. He told all the kids, "I want all your parents there. First practice." So all the parents would show up, and he sat everybody down. He said, "I'm going to say this once. I'm never going to say it again." He said, "I understand that you paid for your son to be on this team." He said, "But this is not your rec league." He goes, "This is not elementary school basketball." He says, "This is AAU travel basketball. There will be college scouts there, and the best players that day will be on the court." He says, "If you're not getting playing time, don't come to me. It's on you to work harder." That means you're not working harder, or you're having a bad day, whatever. Some people might have a bad day, and then you don't get as much playing time. You say, "I'm saying that once, so I don't want parents coming to me yelling at me that kid's not getting playing time." He's got to earn it. If he's not getting playing time, maybe you should ask him what he's doing in practice. Is he hustling? No. That's why he's not getting playing time.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I mean, it's a societal thing these days, right? So now the parents are just going to complain, "Oh, my son didn't play." Well, you said it right there. Well, is he hustling in practice? Is he doing it? Is he doing what he's supposed to be doing when he's home, taking the extra shots.
Is he showing up on time, or is he 15 minutes late?
All of those little things,
Yeah.
But they'll make excuses for the kid.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Then that's the entitlement part.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't do that.
Most definitely. The going back to you said one of your favorite parts about business is the negotiation piece.
Sure.
I'm gonna.
This might be a question. This might be a question.
Do I have to like redo the or can I use that one still?
That's all by choice.
Okay, maybe the first. Maybe I'll do 2 pours per orange.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want a little more?
Sure, you can put a little more.
Maybe we'll do.
He's not driving. So my question is,
this stuff is so good.
this might be like a little secret sauce. I don't know if you want to share it, but do you have a negotiating technique, a tactic that you like to use, or how do you work your deals?
Oh boy, we're about to edit this out.
Nah. No, I always find people.
It's true.
It's people have their different ways of how they like to win business, how they like to win a deal, and
No, you're just trying to learn because the negotiating tactics work across all industries. Doesn't matter what industry that you're in. It's just certain. Well, I want to say all of them. Certain sales tactics will work. So it's a valid question.
Yeah,
you like to see what everybody's tricks and what they.
So without disclosing too much.
Sure.
First of all, you always want to negotiate with the most information possible, right? So you got to do your homework, and that's kind of a standard thing. But you negotiate from a position of strength rather than weakness. And if you're able to walk away, and if you have a line, that you're not going to cross, whether it's if I'm buying a property, I'm selling a property, I'm negotiating a contract for construction, there's a number that makes sense, and some people that really need something might cross that line and say, no, I'll take it for whatever reason. And I've never been in a position where when I did that it turned out well. So, and that's, you asked me before, like, are there lessons that I've learned?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
That's a lesson.
That's definitely a lesson that I've learned, because in the past I've wanted to take jobs to say, oh, this is going to catapult us to the next level, right? Whether it's because it's such a big job, or it's a job that's strategically located and we're going to give us a lot of exposure. When you take jobs for that reason, if for some reason or another it never works out. So you got to negotiate from a position of strength and know when to walk away. Have that already decided before you even get to the table.
So taking a job that financially, from a business sense or business case, makes sense, not just taking it because like, oh, I need a job, or maybe this one can catapult. You're taking it because you're removing the emotion out of it and taking this is the right play for the business. This makes sense financially because at the end of the day, we're trying to make money. Does this make sense? Yes, take the deal.
Yeah.
Not like, all right, it doesn't really make sense, but
exactly.
Maybe
sexiest job isn't always
trying
reasons.
to find trying to find reasons. Yeah.
And you just said it though. You got to take the emotion out of it, which is not easy to do. And I'm an emotional person to start with. Like, I've learned over the years. I've tried to, cultivate that to be less emotional. So that takes years. Right? Like we all work out. Like, you got to practice that. You got to work that out. Over time.
I like how you had a look like fat slobs. You guys work out, right?
No, I can see. We got the big hoodies on, so it's a little hard.
Yeah,
I could see.
Got to mask a little bit of got to mask the bulk.
Now, you manage a lot of personalities, right? How many employees do you have?
We got about 50 plus or minus.
So a lot of personalities, right?
Yeah, in King's Capital.
It's a lot of people to manage, a lot of personalities, a lot of lives you essentially hold, because they make a living working for your company. Are there certain characteristics, traits people have when you want them to join your team that you're like, what, I like this person's mentality, I like the way, what are some of these traits that you look for?
So, again, something that I've learned over time is now we hire for culture, we hire for character, and you could teach skill sets. Mm-hmm. To a certain degree, right? I'm not going to hire somebody who's never walked on a construction site and go build a 100,000 square foot building. But if there's two people that have kind of equal background, I'm always hiring for character now, because we're psychologists, babysitters. I'm a fireman. I'm putting out fires.
Yeah, you can't teach that aspect.
There's so much to the personalities, as you mentioned, that consumes more of my time than anything else. So yeah, you want to hire for culture within the company, because that's something that could decay from the inside out. That becomes a cancer.
Yeah.
And that's so difficult. And that's, again, things that I've learned, over the years, and having just one of the wrong people in there that we've kept for too long, because we've been in the middle. We're like, we need this guy on this job. Like, we don't want to.
It spreads within the company real fast,
so dramatically, because everybody else then sees, well, you gave leeway to this person, for whatever reason that is, and they might not understand what the mindset is, and we already might have them lined up. We know we're going to let this person go after this is done, but that's a mistake on our part. Like, there's an expression that you hire slow and fire fast. Well, that's definitely something that we've learned over time, that because we gave too much rope over the years with certain people, and if we had done it sooner, it would have saved us so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I've heard stories of entrepreneurs and business owners saying, like, their top sales guy, they're bringing in millions of dollars, but he's the biggest cancer to the company.
Yeah.
He's smashing on the desk. He's yelling at employees. He's talking back. He's doing this. And they're like, is it worth to have him here? He's bringing all this money, but people don't really like coming to work or whatever because he's kind of dampening the mood. So I'm always interested to hear people's, takes on why they hire people and the type of people they look for, for their company, because you never want to cancel.
Because you can think of it like let's say you got 10 guys, right? And then you have one guy who makes, the $1 million a year for the company, and then the other 9, but he's a cancer to the company. He's just all negative and this, that, and the next thing, and he kind of talks down to the other 9, and they don't want to come to work. They're not really performing as well as they could because they just don't like the environment. But you get rid of the one guy, and he's like, well, I'm making $1 million. Yeah, well, I don't care because your attitude sucks. Now you bring in somebody else that maybe doesn't make you as much, but the culture brings the culture up. Now the other 9 enjoy coming to work. They love it now, and now they rise to the occasion.
They're going to perform.
And they're going to perform. So now you had the one guy that was making $1 million, but now all 9 are making $500K each because they're happy and they like to. So it builds up. It's kind of where being in the position that you're in is
the culture.
You have to. You can see that this guy's this. Yeah, he's the number, but I got to take the emotion out of it. He is not well. He's not a good fit. We got to remove him, fill somebody else, so we can bring the whole team up. Not just have one up here and everybody's down,
Yeah, because that attitude is crushing everybody else.
Right.
And it's difficult when you're in that position, when you see that top line and you know that this guy is bringing it in. And again, this is something that, trial and error.
You got to learn it.
And we've let that go for too long on occasion. And I'll never do that again.
It's like taking one step back to take 2 steps forward,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. And then the growth that you see from the way that the attitudes change, and when people see that you will do what you have to do to protect the culture and protect them, in essence, because usually that person is very negative, or they're stepping on other people to get where they are. They might not be doing things the way that you want them done within the company. And people see, well, they're taking shortcuts here, or they're doing something along those lines. They think it's okay for them to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And it snowballs. So
100%.
You got to get rid of that person early on, and then
yeah, because I'm a big believer in culture is king within a company, because as we've been mentioning,
culture's king. I like that.
No pun intended.
It's
a segue into my next question.
I don't know. That was good. I like that. That was good. You dropped that in. King's capital, culture's king.
Culture is king, because if you don't have
a slogan you can use, man.
What's the slogan you guys have?
Built by kings.
Built by kings. Yes. Because as we keep reiterating, if you have a culture and people are like, fucking JD's coming in and he's fucking gonna yell and he's gonna fucking do it, I don't want to fucking go to work. And then people start going on LinkedIn and Indeed and like, let me look at other jobs because I don't really like working here.
Yeah.
You have to. If you're a business owner, you have to do it for the people, because those are the people that are making you money. Those are the people that can propel you.
And you're only as good as your people.
And I don't understand how business owners don't get that point.
They don't get that.
I care about the bottom line. I don't care about Justin, Jessica, JD. They're just my workers and they're making me money. I don't care what they feel like. It's a mind-boggling philosophy to me.
But you know what else it does too is you get that one guy, like you had said, where, okay, not only is he a toxic to the company internally, but if he brings any of that, let's just assume he's got a negative look on the company internally. He's probably got a negative look elsewhere too. That's a personality that he has, or she. You got to think that he's probably got some customers, or she has some customers that don't like their attitude either. So what's that customer going to do? Get on Google or whatever, leave you a bad review, and now you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bad reviews. It's like, dude, you're ruining. Yeah, okay, great, you're making a whole lot of money, but you're ruining the company internally. You're ruining some of our customers because they don't like your attitude
and reputation.
Like you're kind of bringing everything down. Yeah, you're up here with bringing us this amount of money, but the aura of the company, we don't want to. That's not what we represent. That's not how we want to be viewed. So you got to get the heck out of here. Put somebody else in. Bring the vibe up. So now, okay, this 1 year we take a little slide. Like you said, I'm okay with not being in a growth period every single time. Might be in a little bit of a rebuild, just like sports. Sometimes you're not winning the Stanley Cup. Sometimes you're in a rebuild. You got to take that step back to be able to think the big picture 5 years from now. Where are we going to be?
Yeah. One step. What did you say? 1 step back, 2 steps forward.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a question I always like to meet anybody, business owners that I meet. Their name, right? Their company name. How did you come up with King's Capital Construction?
Very good name, by the way. Yeah. Not just saying that. Very good name, King's Capital.
Yeah,
I like the alliteration.
And he's got the bling that says King on it.
So I noticed that. I noticed that. Just like I noticed the pinky ring.
Yeah.
I noticed the pinky ring with the S on it. I like that too.
King's Capital Construction. So we started with King's Construction. There is one already in New York. There's a Capital Construction, which was my second choice because it's a marketing thing with that hard K, the hard C or K sound.
Yeah,
for some reason it's memorable. You
yeah.
know? So I knew that, and they couldn't have either one of them, so I put them both together, and we ended up at King's Capital Construction.
That's fantastic.
I wish it was a better story. But
that's a great story, man.
Yeah,
like I wanted this one, I couldn't have it. I wanted that one, I couldn't have it.
So we put it together.
That's just as good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes I ask, and they're like, "Oh, it's because I just Googled it, or I just thought about it one day, and I just made it my name." I'm like,
well, that's kind of like how the blueprint came about with the blend for the blueprint. We were coming up with the blend for the blueprint. We had the blend. We said, hey, can you put this leaf on it, put that leaf on it, and we didn't like it. We said, put them both on it, and then we're like, oh, there it is. That's the one. So couldn't have this one, couldn't have that one. Put them both.
Yeah,
yeah.
And we had a little tagline in the beginning, although we didn't build houses, but we said, you have your castles built by kings.
it's
but
awesome.
since we weren't really building houses, it kind of faded away. And we
Built
just
by
got
Kings.
Built by Kings.
No, I like that. Built by
Little
Kings.
hashtag.
No, that's fucking awesome.
Dude, I like it. I like it.
It's
strong. It's strong. It's a very manly. I don't want to say aggressive, but
alpha male.
It's definitive.
It's definitive. It portrays strength. Built by kings.
That's right.
When you see that, you're like, yeah, I kind of like that. I don't care what it is. I like whatever you're building. You know what I'm saying? Okay, built a chair built by kings. I like that.
I want to see.
I want to see that. Right?
I can't swing a hammer, but it's built by a king, no matter what.
King's Capital, this building built by kings. I'd be like, I want to see that fucking building. I want to go in that building.
So let me transition now to cigars because.
By the way, this is gonna be the only way I'm drinking 42 now. Now, do you? I don't want to cut you off. I do it a lot with Eric. I'm sorry.
It's something you'll pick up on.
Is this just 42 that you do the orange with?
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, just 42.
Is that like a personal thing? Is that just like I don't
Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
I don't remember how I got
came across it.
Yeah, I don't remember how it started, but I can't drink it any other way now.
It's great, man. That's the only way I'm going to drink it now.
I mean, I drink hot water with orange, so now just throw 1942. I mean,
same thing.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious.
Same thing as your tea before you go to sleep.
Yeah,
a little 42 with an orange.
Yeah, just put a little splash.
I take a tea, sub out the tea, put in alcohol.
Yeah, honey, I'm making orange and tea.
What kind of tea you drinking?
It looks like it.
Angel's Envy. That's what I'm drinking.
You'll never know inside a mug. You'll never know.
So I'm sorry,
but
question, Eric.
Cigars. So a big reason why we're here is because you're a cigar enthusiast. You love cigars. You love the spirits with the cigars.
Yeah.
How did you get into this world of cigars? Who turned you on to it? What do you like about cigars?
Speaking of which, if you would like to take a couple puffs of your cigar, you can take a break and take a puff.
We got to relight.
I know.
So let him. You know what? I'm gonna tell a backstory.
Been out for 45 minutes, and I didn't want to click the fucking light.
I was gonna mention this. I always feel bad. This is why another reason why sometimes I tell the stories is because it gives our guests a chance to smoke, because we're always asking the questions and you're talking the whole time. You don't get a chance to smoke.
So as he relights, let me tell you a little bit of backstory about how I got familiar with JD over here.
Speaking of is JD, what's your first name? Can you say that?
My government name. There's only like 5 people that.
Okay, don't say it. Don't say it then. Don't say. Say it off camera.
I like that.
Say it off camera. JD. I was just curious if it was Justin. That's the only reason I asked. Because my initials is JD. I'm Justin. I'm Justin Daniel.
It's a strong name.
Yeah.
I'm not built by King. No, sorry.
No. Built by Germans.
As you enjoy the cigar a little bit, the fucking German missile we call him. I've known about King's Capital Construction, and I just want to bring it how it's so funny because our slogan is we bring people together over a cigar. Since 2019, that's our thing. We bring people together over a cigar, no matter your background, race, creed, whatever. We're here for a cigar. Because I'm in sales, I did construction sales for a while, and then I'm in insurance for construction. But I've always had, like you said, always had King's Capital Construction on my radar, and I thought it was one of the funniest things in the world. I got an email for our podcast saying, "Hey, the owner of King's Capital Construction is likes your podcast, loves cigars, loves drinking with the cigars." And I was like, this is why I love cigars, because you never know in the world of cigars, in the world of business, how it's going to connect you. Yeah. And I just thought it was a hilarious coincidence, and I'm glad you're here. So I appreciate you being
coincidence.
here.
Well, no coincidence.
Nah.
No coincidence. Come on, man.
Luck. Or no, what's right place, right time? Whatever you want.
Divine intervention is what that is.
Oh, divine. There we go.
That's a theme. That's a theme of the episode.
Yeah, we brought that full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, at this point in my life, I want to do business with people that I like. Cigars obviously is a common denominator between us and other people that we do business with. So I've been watching you guys kind of grow over a couple of years. There's definitely events that I've been at that you guys are at. And I've watched the podcast. I don't have social media myself. I don't.
I wish I didn't either.
Normally, if you've noticed over the years, I really am not on our social media at all. You don't really see many pictures of me. There might be a couple more now recently. But I was very much against it. I didn't want to be in the forefront of the company. I wanted the company to, kind of speak for itself. And of course, we have the business development manager that, she's out there and she brands us. She does a good job. So of recent, and they were always asking me, Buzz Creators over the years have been in and out of our company, kind of, if we had a project that we wanted to promote or something like that.
Now, Buzz Creators is a media promotion company, something like that?
What do you call it? Like
promotional marketing company.
Yeah.
It's a marketing company. They said, "Hey,
PR."
Oh,
okay, gotcha.
PR company. Yeah, there you go.
So, and they always wanted me to be in the forefront. They're like, "You got to do this. You have to do this interview. You have to do this." And I would always say no. It was let Victoria do it or let somebody else do it. It wasn't about me. Recently, I've come around to it a little bit more, where I've agreed to do some of these podcasts of, small stuff, but they kind of gave me a list of different podcasts and said, what do you like? I didn't really like any of them. I said, I have the Burn Down podcast. They said, call those guys. I'll do theirs.
Oh, fuck it. Let's go. I love that.
That's how we ended up here.
That's fantastic. That warms my heart, and not just from the tequila. I love to hear that. So let me hear about your cigar, your journey with cigars.
Is that yours?
Goddamn Sirius XM.
I was going to say, I was like, I hear it, but I'm like, what is it? Is it the mics? Where's the buzzing coming from? No, it was your phone. Okay.
Stupid.
I like that. So you see? So apparently social media is working a little bit,
That's what I was saying before. Even though they ban us and block us and do all this shit.
I agree with you. The reason I had said, I wish I didn't have a social media, I don't want to retract the same, but if it's more of if we didn't have a business, if we weren't a social media, I don't want to say company, but like the podcast is social media. That's what it is.
It's a media company.
It's media. If we didn't have that, I wouldn't be on social media, because it's just, granted, I get on there and I'll scroll and do some of the, but I'm try not to. I try to most of the time. I'll be on I don't want to say Twitter, but I'm on X doing some research for whatever it is, or you're on Instagram posting, but it's all because you're trying to build a brand. And social media, that's the blessing of social media, is you can reach people globally. The curse is when you just use it to just scroll for 2 hours and you're like, well,
and get lost in it.
feel like my brain just turned to mush. Where the hell did 2 hours go? It's like I wish I wish I didn't have one. Rephrase that. It's the only reason we have one is because it's a business, and you have to. You're obligated at this point. You know?
Yeah, my wife just recently became a domestic engineer, aka stay-at-home mom. So
I was just gonna ask you, what is that?
Wait, domestic engineer.
Okay.
I'm buying her business cards and I'm put them on my counter. But
Oh my
domestic
gosh.
engineer.
That's
So like
pretty
that.
funny.
Yeah, no, she loves that.
Does she love? Okay.
Oh
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
funny,
yeah.
man.
I think her brother called her and like, you're officially a domestic engineer. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
Fucking A.
Housewife.
My whole family's engineers besides me. Now my wife's an engineer too. God damn it. But
She's like, you should put a card that just says like, what's your job? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
no, I seen it on social media. It was like a husband bought like his wife like so and so, homemaker executive or homemaker president. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get her a business card that says executive domestic engineer. I'm like,
I like that.
Right?
CEO
never heard
of
that.
the house.
Yeah, CEO of the house that runs shit. But the
Built
whole
by
point,
queens.
built by
Yeah.
Queens,
Built by kings for the queen.
There you
So
go. Now we're fucking come up with ideas. But she recently, because she's home all the time, she's like, I would just be on my phone, and I'm like, just like Justin said, like scrolling, and it's just mindless, and I'm like, I'm taking away from my daughter, and I don't want it anymore. So she got rid of her Instagram, her Facebook, her Snapchat, everything, and I'm like, how does it feel? And it's been like a month maybe, and I'm like, how does it feel? And she's like, I don't even care. Like it's like such a
I bet you she's happier.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
so much happier. Because just like everybody else, you see people on social media, you start comparing yourself to other people. This person's doing this, that person's doing that.
Comparison.
And it's all fake.
And it's all fake.
Yeah,
It's
well,
only
that's what
highlight reels.
That's
It's
what we're
all
just talking
highlight
about
reels.
with like the mentorship now. It's like I feel like everything that everybody comes across. Oh, I got a mentorship program. Buy my mentorship program. Link in the bio.
Yeah,
and it's
they
all
never did
it's
shit,
all
those
bullshit.
people.
It's guys that rent an Airbnb mansion and then they rent a Lamborghini. They pull it up and say, "You could be here if you just follow my course." You buy a course and it's like some bullshit ebook that they made on Canva and they're selling it and. It's like BS.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
BS. 90% of them. There's a few that, but the ones that you'll find, those mentors. I mean, I would say there's a few on social media that probably are legit.
Yeah.
Okay, like the Tony Robbins. Okay, I get it. His thing is legit.
Yeah,
okay?
no, there definitely are.
But most of the other ones are probably not on social
I'm
media.
actually a member of the Arte Syndicate, which is with Ed Milet and Andy Frisella.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I mean, those guys are legit. And
Well, Andy's first form. What's Ed? Is he?
so Ed, he owns a lot of different
Where was he?
companies.
Because I know Andy was
But
from first
I
form.
think he started in insurance. I think his
really?
main business is insurance.
I'm not familiar with Ed Milet.
Andy Frisella,
That is
I've listened to him for a long
He's
time.
great. He's like he's in your face.
He's no bullshit.
No
I listened to his
bullshit,
podcast
man.
since, like, for the last
You know, he got stabbed in the face. Andy Frisell.
No.
Did you hear that story?
Yeah, multiple times.
He's got like the Joker. Like,
Damn.
Yeah, like a huge.
No, I never knew that.
Yeah.
He was when podcasts. This was like back in like 2017 when podcasts were just starting to be a thing. I would always listen to his podcast because he was always like in your face. Like,
Yeah, that
fuck.
first podcast was called the MFCEO.
Yeah,
Yes.
motherfucking CEO.
Yes.
Yeah, listen
Yes,
to
it
that.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and he's no bullshit.
No.
So you were saying, those we were talking about mentors, and you brought up Ed Milet and Andy Frisella.
So they have
part of their
a
thing.
program called the Arte Syndicate, and originally it was kind of like invite only. They would do a couple like in-person meetups throughout the year. It was pretty expensive to go to those, but they've changed it now so that it's subscription, only a couple $100 a month, and every Wednesday, one of them, and these guys, both of them are billionaires. Every Wednesday, one of them, they alternate, are giving an hour Zoom call for everybody who's involved, and they just talk about business. 1
And
week
it's
a
a
month.
couple $100 a month.
It's 300 or 397, I think. 400.
And it's not invite only.
No, but you got to be approved. So you
Okay.
put an application in, and they approve you. I don't know what their criteria is, but they approve you, and then every Wednesday for an hour, they speak to you about different business aspects,
Can you ask questions?
tangible things. So once a month they'll do a Q&A.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like 3 weeks they just presenting and you're listening, and then the fourth is they do a Q&A.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
I wonder what the criteria
It is no bullshit. Like there's not like fluff behind it. It's not like they're not selling you anything.
No.
They don't need to sell you a thing. It is strictly for entrepreneurs that are serious about what they want to do, building a culture, building a business, whatever it may be. There's a big plug for Arte Syndicate.
Yeah.
So, but if there's anything that you wanted to get involved in, this is the one.
Wow.
I mean, it's not for considering, just comparing it to Tony Robbins, his events are tens of thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get the same caliber, right? Andy Frisell, billionaire. Ed Milet, billionaire. You said, like, if you can get that caliber of person to speak to you
For an hour.
four times
4 hours out of the month.
$100 an hour. Think about it. $100 an hour. Okay, this guy's a billionaire. $100 an hour is $200,000 a year. So
There's nothing like it.
that's a deal and a half.
You go to a Tony Robbins thing, and not to discount anything at Tony or any of these other guys, because of course there are some real legitimate guys that you could gain a lot from, but it's a one-time experience, right? And you're going to come out of that weekend or wherever you are, and you're going to be pumped up and like you ready to take over the world, and that kind of fades.
It's so true that you say that.
Life gets back involved.
Tony Robbins does talk about that. He talks about like motivation. Like, you don't need motivation. Motivation is you're in right now. You're motivated. You're pumped up. You're ready to run through a wall. And like you said, then you leave. A day goes by. 2 days go by. 3 days. It fizzles out. It's like being in a hot tub. You're in a hot tub. It feels fantastic. You're like, oh my gosh, it feels great. And then you get out and it's like, now you're cold and you just want a blanket. You want to go back to the way you were. It's so true.
You know what I've heard is they say motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you going.
Interesting.
It's all about discipline,
right? And that's where they try to teach. It's like, hey, listen, you're
it's
at these
showing
events.
up on the days that you don't want to show up.
Yep. That's go back to where you're trying to you look for character when you hire. Character. I heard this too, and this I heard this back when I was playing basketball in college. I heard it saying, character is who you are when nobody is watching.
Yeah.
Right? So when I heard that, I'm like, okay, what are these people doing on a Friday night? There's partying. Where am I? I'm in the gym, 11 o'clock at night, getting shots up. Right? And nobody's there but the janitor. Right?
Getting shot up or getting shot up?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, oh, bah. But yeah,
nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching. Come on, But no, that's like you said. You're looking for characters. I can motivate you when we're right here, but I'm not going to be here all day long. What are you doing when the cameras are off, when the lights are off, when you're by yourself at night? Are you grinding? Are you still putting in? Just because you don't feel well, just like you'd said, hey, working out. You know how it is. Like some days you don't want to work out. You're like, shit. And some days it's like, oh, I got my program says I got a heavy day. I got to go heavy today, and I feel like shit, and I don't want to do it. Do you still do it, or do you?
Those are the days that matter.
Or do you bitch out? Those are the days you still do it, and I find that those days when I don't want to, and I go in, it's a heavy day. I actually perform the best because you get that little bit of a like I'm still doing it. I'm in here anyway.
So, what do you think builds confidence? Right? You think success builds confidence?
No.
Well, tell me what you think.
I think it's the consistency, the day in, day out, grinding it.
It's keeping the promises that you make to yourself.
I think it's the process. I think it's you fulfilling the minute behaviors that you do every single day that you don't want to do. Yeah. The small things that get you to the big thing. That's
doing what you have to do.
Those W's, right? And you stack the W's, and of course that's gonna, you're gonna build confidence, and you're gonna be successful, and you're gonna make money on those things or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But it's keeping the promises to yourself, right? So if you tell yourself, I'm going to work out 5 days a week, and you're only working out 3, you know that, right? So you know that there's a chink in the armor there, right? And when you look in the mirror, nobody else knows that. They don't know that you said you're going to work out 5 days a week, and you made that promise to yourself, but you do.
Yeah.
So if you're going to continue not keep those promises and whatever that may be, or you say, I'm going to make 100 calls today, and you
make 95. You're like,
those 5, make 101.
I'll tell you, I've cold called and knocked on many doors in my 10 years of sales career. My 10-year sales career, the times I've ever got deals, ever got clients, is the times where I'm like, fuck, it's fucking 4:30. All right, I'll make fucking one more call, or it's fucking raining. All right, I'm gonna go knock on one more fucking door. And what happens?
That's the one.
The owner's there. Yeah. And there's a fucking hailstorm right now. And he's like, holy shit. Many times I've been in a situation like back when I'll give you an example. Back when I was doing construction sales, I knocked on a door over in Long Island, electrician, and I knocked on his door, and he said, "Did my boss just tell you to come in here?" And I was like, "No, why?" He goes, "Because he just got off the phone." I was selling like life safety, fire alarm, arc systems, gas detection at the time. He said, "My boss just got off the phone with our fire alarm guy and said, find someone fucking new because I can't stand this fucking guy." And here you are.
What's that?
Divine intervention.
There it is.
I'm telling, dude. Listen.
And there's been a few times where I've been in that situation.
Listen,
because when I started insurance, I didn't have a background. I didn't have like these connects where people can hook me up. I only knew two things: how to call and how to knock on doors. And people were like, "What the fuck? What do you do?" And I was like, "I've knocked on capital construction doors plenty of times."
Yeah,
but
I'm telling you, that's not coincidence, man.
And that's what's built my confidence is doing those annoying little tasks that no one wants to fucking do, knowing that I can get eventually a meeting in the door, a conversation with somebody. That's what builds confidence.
But it's consistency.
100%.
Consistency and discipline, and that's what's getting you there and building your confidence.
And I tell you, you know how many times, like going back to the working out, lifting weights, right? Those days when you don't want to do it, you're tired, or even days like I've had days where I'm doing legs on a Saturday, and Friday night went out for dinner and it got a little too, too waffled, tuned up. You're feeling it the next day, and you're like, I don't care, doing it anyway, right? And you feel like you want to throw up. But you know those days, every single time after that workout, I feel like $1,000,000. I feel like I can conquer the world because I'm like, I felt like shit. I've had days where I'm sick. It's like, unless I'm puking, I'm doing it. Yeah. And you get in there, you do the workout, you finish it, and you're like, I earned now. Like,
we call him the German missile for a reason.
I'm going to say that's more discipline than I have. I gotta be honest.
I'll give Justin a lot of credit. He's very disciplined. We're working out.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very disciplined.
But no, it's but like you had said, you made a promise to yourself. Like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing, and there's no negotiating. This is it. This is the plan. This is what I'm doing. I'm not negotiating with myself. I said I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. And then every single time, because I always tell people, like, listen, you will never, ever, I promise you, you'll never feel worse after working out. Ever.
Facts.
I'm like, it doesn't matter how bad you feel. You get in there, you finish the workout, you're going to feel better. You come out, you're like, I feel awesome. Just like you had said when you were doing the workouts in the morning. Yep. You said I was waking up early doing the workouts, and at the end of it, it's like, I feel freaking great.
Yeah. Then you have energy throughout the day.
I feel like I'm more successful.
For me, that's my therapy too.
Exactly.
Like, on the days that I don't work out and I'm in the office, like, it's tangible. I've had people say to me, "You didn't work out today, did you?" Like, my attitude is different.
Sure.
And then I'm in a much better mood on the days that I work out.
I don't think there's anything better than working out in the morning.
I can't do it at night.
I can't do it either.
No, it's my day gets away from me, and plus with the kids and everything else, and I'm shot by the end of the day. If I don't do it in the morning, I'm not getting it done.
I learned that from what was his name, Jocko.
Jocko Willink.
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's a great book, by the way. You guys read that?
I have not.
No.
Remind me again. What's the name of the book?
Extreme Ownership.
No, never.
No, I haven't read that one.
Great book.
I heard him say.
I made everybody in my company read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you build good. That's how you build good culture. You make them read fucking books like that.
Yeah, we had a book club.
But he talked about he's.
I'm gonna go in for. I'm gonna do a fresh one. I cut 3 fresh ones for anybody. Okay.
Go do it.
Did you eat the other one? What happened to it?
I didn't. I put it over. I mean, I actually. You know what?
You should suck on it. There's
some
good tequila.
Yo, when you played football as a kid and they gave you the orange peels, orange. I don't know if you played football growing up. I know they gave you
I
the
didn't get orange peels though.
Bro,
I got dirty water out of a hose.
Hey, okay, time out real quick. I saw something. Now, so how? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you right now?
I'm gonna be 48 next month.
48. Okay. So I saw something that said, "Why don't whatever generation we are? I don't freaking know what we are. I'm 35. I guess I'm a millennial generation. I don't like to call myself millennial because I I hate them.
You don't associate with them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever generation is, they said
I'm Gen X.
Gen
I just
X,
found out actually. I'm
so
Gen
say
X.
Gen X, right? Whatever the
Recently.
generation is. But they said, why doesn't this generation? Why are they never sick? And then it said me in high school in somebody's basement, and it's like you're playing beer pong, and it's like they shoot the cup, and it's like you take the ball out of the cup, and there's like grass and dirt, and it's like bang, and like they watch. It's like,
you're drinking water out of the
freaking hose.
Yeah,
and that's when you said, I go, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
No, but
fresh
as a kid,
water.
At our football practice, they set up with PVC pipe. They hooked the hose up to it, PVC pipe. They drilled holes in it, and 10 of us stood around it with a little fucking trickle of water coming out, sucking out. After 3 days, by the way, triple sessions.
Yeah, man.
In August heat, where we were 8 o'clock in the morning, workout. We were there from 8 to 5 o'clock. Three
That's
days.
it, man. You build up the resistance. We had
you throw up, get back on the field.
back on the field,
3
man.
days build character.
I used to do. We used to do I was at a training, private trainer in the summers, and the first time I was there, I knew it was gonna be tough, because in every corner of the gym was a garbage bucket. Every single corner. I'm like,
You knew what that meant.
I'm like, this is gonna suck. And he's like, listen, you got to throw up, pick a corner, and come back. But the to the same lines as we used to do, one of the things that basketball players would do is you lick your fingers, right? It's just a thing. It's like habit licking your fingers, but you'd also wipe your shoes, lick your fingers. Licking the balls, touching licking your fingers, right? I go, that's why your immune system's so strong.
Lick your fingers, rub the bottom of your shoes, so you get more traction, and then and then for the shot.
But it's like nowadays, be like, you're disgusting. Like, that's just what we did.
You built an
man.
immunity to germs.
That's just what we
most
did,
definitely.
man.
No, in between 5th grade and 8th grade football, during halftime at the games, moms or whatever, they would bring the oranges and they give them all the kids. So all the kids, coaches giving a motivational speech, all the kids are sucking down orange peels. And sometimes it would get so much, the coach was like, get those fucking orange peels out of here, and start yelling. So I think that's why I love oranges so much, because at halftime we'd be dying. And I'm like,
By the way,
shit.
that orange that I
never
sucked
had that.
on,
Really? Yeah, no, it's
That's like a shot right there.
dude. That was the best orange I ever had. Does anybody want a little
I'm
little
still good.
refresher or no?
I'm okay.
Okay. Listen, I don't gotta go anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm home.
No, I don't got a Jessica.
All I'm doing
to
is
drive
I'm
me home,
watching
so.
Game 6 tonight. That's
Yeah.
all I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah, are you watching the finals? I haven't even paid attention.
Game
yeah.
6 is that was last night.
No, Stanley Cup.
Oh,
Stanley.
Yeah,
I'm
thinking
hockey,
basketball.
man.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about basketball
No,
too.
Knicks are out of it. I'm not fucking watching.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm watching to make sure Indiana loses.
yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't fucking.
I wanted to
I don't think they're gonna win.
What's the series? What's the series
No,
at right now?
3-2.
3-2 OKC.
OKC won last night.
Okay, yeah.
That guy, that SGA is ridiculous.
Once
Another guy, Jalen Williams had 40.
41, I think. Yeah.
What the hell, man?
bro. Once I don't even watch NBA anymore.
I don't watch
Yeah.
NBA. I don't.
Once all the guys I grew up with kind of retired, I can't still believe, everyone says LeBron's still in it. I remember being in 6th grade, LeBron was just coming up. He's still in the fucking league. But once like Tracy McGrady, Kevin Garnett, Jay
Sleepy
Kidd,
eyes, yeah.
Antonio Pierce, Antonio Walker, all those guys.
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce. When all those guys started getting out.
Paul Pierce had when he came in, like, he was good and stuff, but he had like this little stint when he won with the Celtics where he was like, he was just untouchable. And then he was like, I'm good. I'm phenomenal. He's like, I'm like, like he had those
The
three.
NBA is kind of like in line with what you were saying earlier with like the societal thing. It's like the NBA sucks to watch, in my opinion. It's so soft.
Well, that's why I like. I don't know if you're a hockey fan. That's why I watch hockey, because if you watch playoff hockey, man, you want to talk about like grudges. Like, these guys are going at each other's throats, man. It's fast paced, so it's like back and forth. But the hits are like football getting hit nonstop, bang, 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 and these guys are playing like a minute on, a minute off, a minute on, a minute. So it's just constant going. And
do you watch hockey?
Not like that. I only watch the Rangers.
Yeah.
Other sports I watch more, but hockey really only if the Rangers are in.
Yeah.
But what I like when they just come onto the ice, throw the gloves off, and go after the guy that they want.
But that's like how
I'm here for one reason.
Yeah,
but that's
no doubt.
what you get.
Bash Bros.
But that's what you get in the playoffs, right? Because in football, you play one game in the playoffs. If you win, you move on, right? In hockey, just like in basketball, it's best of 7. But in basketball, you're not really getting banged up like you are in hockey. They're checking, you're hitting people, you're getting into fights. So you're playing these same guys for 7 games that have been hitting you. So by game 6 and game 7, you're just pissed. You're like, I want to drop the gloves and just swing at anybody. So some of these games, that's what happens. They drop the puck. Everybody drops the gloves. Yeah. Let's freaking go.
Let's go.
And then you got like 4 guys.
Rumble.
You got like 4 guys in the penalty box 3 seconds into the game.
I feel like hockey's like the only sport that really hasn't gotten soft. Like
it hasn't.
And the NBA, like when we interviewed John Starks years ago, and that was like, for me, the best time to watch basketball because
the 90s.
When we interviewed him, I thought he was going to be. We went to his lounge out in Stanford. I thought he was going to be like this loud, bodacious guy, but he was like super humble, quiet, like very. I don't know if you ever met him before because he's a Westchester guy, but it was like a completely different person. But we talked so much about how basketball was back then. Just getting hacked at the rim, and no problem.
That's where like
different game.
But
100%.
it was because like back then. If you, like, there was the hard foul, right? Like, I remember growing up, hard foul, okay? If somebody's coming to the lane, if you're going to foul him, foul him.
Make sure he doesn't get a shot off.
Make sure he doesn't get a shot off, okay? Yeah. Just like if I'm coming down the lane and somebody wants to take a charge, that's going to be the last charge that you take on me. I'm going to if I can't stop, I'm running through you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to barrel you over and make sure that you feel that charge, okay? That's what the 90s were. Somebody comes into the lane like with the Pistons, Ben Wallace and the Pistons, right? What was Lambier?
No, you got to go back when it was Rodman and Lambier.
Lambier. Like you come into the lane, you better be careful. You're getting hit. Like Jordan was.
Oh, they had the Jordan rules. They had the Jordan rules.
He comes in the lane, hit him.
Yeah.
But now you can't do that. It's a flagrant. But back then, like there was the hand checking. There was getting beat up. That was bad.
That's why I can't
no blood, no
stand
foul. Right?
When they want to make a comparison between LeBron and Jordan. There is no comparison because the game was different.
It's different eras. And they don't play the same.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't play the same.
It's completely different. And what the character that Jordan had, you can't even compare him to
It's
LeBron.
different. I always
Jordan would walk in the locker room with a cigar and say, "Who's guarding me?"
Did you ever hear that story?
Have you heard that story?
Into the other locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Jordan
guarding me?
walked in.
He's like, no doubt.
And he dropped 55 on him.
Yeah.
Well, lit cigar, took a puff. Who's checking me? And
or he would
looked.
just make up fake scenarios like JD said this shit about me.
Yeah.
All right, JD, say something.
Made that up.
Well, I never thought
whatever
about that.
reason or manufactured reason he could have just to go off on him.
Well, you saw The Last Dance, right?
I did. Yeah.
When he got the flu game, you know, they did research. They said that was actually food poisoning.
Mm-hmm. So the night before.
He was hungry. You heard the story?
Yep.
Yeah, and he got the pizza, and his assistant was like,
I don't know, man.
Why is there like this is the only pizza place open? Like why? And
there was like 3 or 4 guys that did.
Yeah, he goes, I don't really feel this. And Jordan was like, I'm hungry. He ate it, and he got food poisoning. And the other team's probably like, yeah, we got him. And he comes out and he drops whatever it was 45, and he's like, motherfucker, we can't get this guy, right? But I always said that LeBron, like, listen, LeBron is fantastic. He's one of the greatest to ever play the game. Okay, and you can argue that he's the greatest, right? Statistically, whatever. When you're building a basketball player, like you would build LeBron, 6'8", 265, jumps through the roof, runs like a gazelle, can play all 5 positions. I get it, but he doesn't play the game the same way that Jordan played the game. LeBron plays more like Magic Johnson played. LeBron is not shoot first. LeBron is more of the facilitator. He's going to try to get the play. Kobe played like Jordan. Mm-hmm. Kobe was a good comparison. I don't give a shit about assists and rebounds. I'm scoring. I don't care if I have 3 people on me.
That's the difference.
I'm shooting the fucking ball.
So I don't care that LeBron played more like Magic and he's going for assists or whatever. If he's making his teammates better, there's still an argument for you could be the best, right? If you're making the people around you better.
Which I've seen.
But it's the mentality to me where it's between Kobe and Jordan had that fucking killer mentality.
Most definitely.
Which I've seen from LeBron. I think I'll make the argument just to play devil's advocate. I've seen from LeBron. I can remember one time when they were down 3-1.
Once.
And what did he do when he said, fuck that? And he had 40-point triple-double, 40-point triple-double, and like 38 points the next 3 games to win it. That is where I was like, okay, but why don't you do that every single time?
Right? So that That's great. He did that
because you're capable, but you know
exactly. But you don't.
But you don't.
Don't step up on a regular basis. You complain too much. You talk too much. And I'm not even going to get into the political side of it or whatever the fuck it is.
I've
just
always
sticking with the basketball sense of it, right? Shut up and dribble. But even outside of that, I don't know LeBron, so let's fucking take it for what it is. He doesn't come off as the same type of leader as Kobe or Jordan does.
And you know where I also think is I don't think like the rest of the league, LeBron steps on the floor. I don't think the rest of the league has the same fear.
There's not a fear.
Yeah.
That when Jordan stepped on the floor, people said don't
piss that man off.
Yeah, when Kobe first came in the league and he was playing against Jordan, Kobe's teammates said don't look him in the eye. And they're like, Kobe's like, why? He's like, and that's Black Jesus. You don't look him in the eye. Don't look him in the eye. And Kobe's like, no, that's me. Like that's why I say Kobe is kind of the same as Jordan.
Kobe credits Jordan tremendously.
Yes.
For mentoring him and making him who he is.
But that's where I compare. I say Kobe was kind of like because Kobe's like, no, that's me, man. Don't look me in the eye.
They do the comparisons a lot. I've watched where it's Jordan and Kobe. The mannerisms, the way they shoot, everything.
Yeah, he copied all his moves.
Well, and they
Jordan
were both
said it.
They were both trained by Tim Grover too.
Jordan said it too.
Right? You know who Tim Grover is? No, so that was like their strength and conditioning trainer outside of the team.
Okay.
And he trained both of those guys, and he talks about the similarities. He has a book called Relentless, and he talks about the comparisons to those guys where they'll get he would get a call 3 a.m. Either one of them, it's interchangeable. Let's go. Meet me at the gym. We're going to take these shots. We're going to do these things. And those were the guys. And he talks about like their work ethic is just
it's unmatched.
Absolutely.
Well, even Jordan said it. Jordan's like, I'll beat anybody one-on-one except Kobe because he steals all my moves. Right? But that's why I said.
But Kobe will say, but he taught him to.
Yeah.
Right?
But that same mentality where there's a Kobe story of I forgot where they were. They were somewhere. And the story goes, Kobe's with the team and I might botch the story, but they lose a game or something.
3 kills.
Yeah. So the basically story goes where Kobe said he's working out in the gym and there's like nobody with him, and he's waking in the morning, early morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. He's working out, and the guys are going out partying. They're like, nah. And Kobe's like, no, working out. And they're like, Kobe, come with us. He's like, nah, I gotta wake up. Kobe, come with us. Nah, I gotta wake. Kobe, come. He's like, fine. He's like, I'll tell you what. I come with you guys. I'll party, go wherever you want, party as long as you want. He's like, but tomorrow morning, you come with me. They're like, whatever. So Kobe goes out, parties with them until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. 5 a.m., Kobe's knocking on their door. Let's go. And they're like, what? He goes, I went out with you. Now you work out with me. 5 a.m., let's go. And everybody came up, and he goes, I don't care where we are. We're not here on a road trip in wherever in San Antonio. We're not here to party. We have a job. Our job is to win a basketball game. It's not to party. He's like, our job is to win a basketball. We have a job. Let's get the job done. And at the end of the season, we can party. Yeah. Just like when they said, oh, Kobe, you're up 3-1. Are you happy? He's like, job's not finished.
Right.
He's like, is the job finished? Did we win 4 games? No, job's not finished. They go, why you look so serious? Because the job's not finished yet. We got 1 more game to win. Yeah. Then I'll party.
That reminds me of Emmitt Smith had a commercial. I don't know if you remember the commercial. He just won the Super Bowl. I forgot what company it was for, but he's in the gym working out, and he's doing. They just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, next day.
And he's working on the bench, and he says something similar to that. And he's like, well, why are you working out? He's like, because we already won. It's time to win again, or whatever he said.
See, that's the mentality that some people don't
That's
have.
why I'm a Cowboys fan, by the way.
Oh,
come on.
All right, end the podcast right now.
I wanted to make sure while we're in Long Island, you guys know.
Cut the camera. Come
I could have gone the whole episode without hearing that.
That's hysterical. Cowboy fan. All right.
Sir.
Okay. But I don't know what it was, but it was that same concept where he's benching and he's like one more or it's not, job's not done, or I got a new job, or whatever it was. But that's the mentality these high level performing athletes who have multiple championships have.
Well, that's what the story with Kobe and the Olympic team. You see, when they played Spain with Pau Gasol. You heard that story, right?
He's like, I'm gonna fucking run.
Yeah, and he's on the.
You heard the story?
No.
Oh my God, that's a great story.
I don't know this one.
So Kobe's on the Olympic team. This is when they called it I think it was the Redeem team, because they had the Dream team, right? Now this
the original,
the Redeem team, because I think they had lost it the year before. So anyway, they there's a game against Spain. right? And Kobe's with the Lakers, and Pau Gasol's his teammate. But now Pau Gasol's playing for Spain, and Kobe's playing for U.S. And Kobe said to his team, he's like, I know the first play that they're going to run. Pau's going to be the second screen. I'm going to run through his chest. And the rest of the USA is like, man, you ain't going to do that shit. Like, that's your teammate. You ain't going to do that. Kobe's like, I know the play. I'm running through his fucking chest. And they're like, all right, whatever, fine. First play comes out. They run the play. Pau's on the second screen, and Kobe runs right through his chest, barrels him over, sends him back like 5 feet, and they call a foul. And everybody, the team's looking at each other like,
that's your teammate.
What the fuck was that?
Not today.
And Kobe said, he may be my teammate during the regular season, but right now he's the fucking enemy.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't give a fuck who is on the other side. I'm here to win a game. And it set the tone for the rest of the game. They're like, shit. Like, Kobe means business. Like, that's his brother. Like, they're brothers. And he just ran through his chest. And they're all of them like, what the? And they all said that right there. It's just set Kobe to another level. Like, you ain't gonna do this shit. Yeah, he did.
I like the story in The Last Dance when the Dream Team was together and they were at that practice and they all started going at each other and Magic and Jordan were going at each other.
Yeah.
And they said that practice. I mean, think about that, right?
They said that was the greatest game that nobody ever saw.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah. That's think like Rocky and Apollo Creed.
And what did Magic Johnson say?
He said something to piss him off.
So yeah, but Michael came in and said like, "There's a new sheriff in town," and Magic Johnson was like, "Well, he ain't lying," like because Magic was the sheriff, and then Jordan's like, "There's a new sheriff in town." And they were like, "Oh, he got us right," you know,
100%.
Yeah, I remember that. And they went at it, and Jordan was just took over. And that was when they had Christian Laettner was an amateur. He was from Duke.
Yeah,
Duke. And he was playing. He never played in that game because they were like, nah. You're the amateur. You sit on the fucking bench. Yeah. It's Magic. Magic's got his 5. Jordan's got our 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me get into this.
Okay.
We originally started with how did JD get into cigars, and
I wanted to ask a little.
Oh, we're still talking about that?
Yeah. So
I told you, man.
What happens.
It kind of,
because when you said, what are we gonna talk about? This is the shit that goes on. We go off on tangents. So JD.
We got a couple tears going.
I got the olive oil in the eyes.
I know this is a very special guest, man. But
I know. I'm so happy he's here. I'm emotional, crying, But we're smoking the Diligent. We're smoking cigars on the podcast.
Great cigar, by the way.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Are you gonna be at the golf outing?
I will.
Okay,
yes.
So you'll see us there.
We'll have a whole lounge set up. Excuse me.
How did you get into cigars? What turned you on into cigars? I always like to ask everyone, how they got into it.
I don't know. I mean,
do you remember your first one?
My first cigar. We're talking about.
On his first love.
Hold on. Edit.
I don't remember my first cigar. No, but I mean that was just a thing. Kind of growing up and seeing guys in the neighborhood. It was just like you've.
Where'd you grow up, by the way?
So I grew up in. We call it Silver Lake, which is it's West Harrison now. Most people know that.
Okay, so
but it's a predominantly Italian neighborhood.
It's north of the city, right?
Yeah, it's by.
It's in Westchester. Yeah, Westchester. I forgot we're in Long Island.
I'm a Long Island.
I'm a Long Island. I'm born and raised Long Island, but I'm a Westchester area now.
Okay, well you're in Eastchester, so you know what Silver Lake is.
Yeah, of course,
okay.
of course.
And that's a predominantly Italian neighborhood, blue collar guys. Construction, landscaping, masonry. That's what it is. 2-family houses, stuff like that. But down in the main strip of town, that's where everybody goes to the bars. There's a firehouse, there's a parking lot. Everybody hangs out over there and smokes cigars. From when we were young, and like you said,
how young?
It brings guys together.
Like if you think about it,
early teenage years,
you were smoking cigars.
Yeah, probably around 16.
Now, were you smoking? I know you said you don't remember, but do you think you were smoking like premiums? Were you smoking like backwoods or some Swisher Sweets?
No. So
the Al Capones, the little cigarellos,
Juuls.
Okay.
Yeah, Juul Sweets actually is exactly what they were called, and they had the little filter on the end.
Your little sweet tip.
They were they were sweet.
Yeah.
So that actually was probably my first cigar.
Now, have you had one of those since?
No. Not since back in that era, no.
So you should.
They still make those?
I don't know if
they make them, but it's fun because that's kind of like how everybody starts, right? You start those little
Black and Milds,
the gas station ones, because you're young, you're not getting. So we actually did an episode once, and this is maybe a couple of years ago, but we were well into cigars, right? We were seasoned cigar smokers, and we said, hey, let's go back and let's smoke some of those. And we smoked the Swisher Sweet, the Backwoods, the Al Capones, the White Owls, the
Black
Dutch
Miles.
Masters, Black and Milds.
Philly Blunts.
It was probably we picked up a
I
whole
went
whatever
to the
you
gas station. I said, just give me
one of everything, and
Yeah.
man, they were
So hard.
disgusting. And I'm like, I can't believe that I actually smoked this shit. But
Yeah.
So where you grew up, a lot of the guys were smoking cigars, and and you kind of just wanted to.
So
get,
what's
yeah,
some of
so
like,
it was just. I mean, it was kind of a normal thing.
Yeah.
what's some of the cigars that you smoke? You smoke now. I mean, I know that the Blueprint, the Diligence now your favorite cigar ever.
Yes.
I get that.
Yes.
But what are some of the other
What
cigars
am I
that you like?
smoking now? Baccarat King.
Oh yeah.
Are you smoking that because it says King?
I wish I could say yes, but no, it's a good cigar.
Yeah.
You got to try.
Churchill's.
You got to smoke Long Live the King. That's a great.
That's
cigar.
another good cigar.
By Caldwell Cigars. Long Live.
Long
the
Live
King.
the
Okay,
King.
I didn't know about that.
I don't know if Justin has one as a humidor, but that's
There's a few of them.
by
There's-
Caldwell Cigars.
Yeah.
So I got a tattoo of a lion on my back, and it says "Kings never die." So, long live the king.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then there's
Is that for Jesus? That
Yeah.
tattoo?
It's for Jesus.
Love that. That's
Actually,
beautiful.
it's no. The reason I asked it because I'm thinking about getting that on my arm. I'm gonna do a sleeve on my arm, all religious. I have a cross now, but I'm thinking about adding the king because it's the lion, cause it's the Lion of Judah. Then there's the Lamb of God. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. That's why I asked. That's I love that the king.
And what is the King is dead? Is that another
The
one?
King is dead is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a whole like King.
We don't
line.
want that one.
No, that's why I didn't mention that when I said
No,
Long
we
Live
don't.
the
King's
King.
not dead. He's alive.
No.
He's alive, man.
That's
And he's coming back, so you better get right with Jesus before he does.
So you said a couple Churchills.
Yeah.
You know what kind.
All right, so you said you smoked the Baccarat King.
Mm-hmm.
You smoked the well, we had talked about the Long Live the King. What else? What other ones we got?
What are the Churchills called? The wait something.
The White Series
Is it, yeah,
by
the
Monte
ones-
Cristo.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
the Monte
the white-
Cristo White
yeah,
Series.
the
Yes,
White
that's
Series.
Yeah,
exactly
white label,
what it is,
yeah,
The
yeah.
white label.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we have that up here?
Monte Cristo we have.
We
but I
have
don't
Monte
know.
Cristo Epic right here. I thought I had the White Series somewhere.
I don't know.
That's a good stick.
Yeah,
My
that-
brother-in-law likes
that's
that
nice.
stick. Yeah.
Mild.
So you
Yeah.
like more of
I
the
actually
mild
smoked
stuff?
that on Sunday.
You like more of the mild stuff?
Yeah, I do.
I got a bunch. We'll send you off with
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah, we'll send you off a bunch of the Diligence, the blueprints and stuff. but-
What is it that you like about cigars? When you smoke a cigar, you're like, this is why I enjoy this.
I mean, it's you can relax with it, right? I mean, I used to drink B&B. I don't know if you guys know.
Hell yeah.
All right,
I
so
love B&B.
I mean, there's nothing like having a cigar on a B&B.
B&B's is a little sweet.
It is a little sweet, which is why I drink a lot less of it now because that fucking kills you the next day.
That's like
You can only have one of those.
yeah. I used to have Grand Marnier for
Yeah.
a cigar, and I got drunk off of Grand Marnier once. Bad,
Ooh,
bad. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's sweet.
it's very sweet.
But
The
the
next day,
B&B,
the hangover.
does it have like
It's sweet.
Is
too,
it like
though.
a almond or vanilla or something like that? Isn't it?
I would say there's a
maybe?
little vanilla hint to it. Yeah,
What is that? I don't know what B&B
Benedictine
is.
and brandy.
Yeah.
It's an old timer's drink.
Yeah.
B&B.
Yeah, it's an old timer's drink, and a lot of places don't even carry it anymore. But a B&B on the rocks with a cigar, that's
See,
nice.
that's the thing. Is like you'd mentioned
nice after
why you
dinner.
smoke is because it's very relaxing.
It is.
And we told people we had a whole episode about the benefits of cigars, and because they rope them in with cigarettes and they're just a totally different
It's
thing.
different.
And we'd said that it's when you're smoking a cigar, you're not trying to rush through it, right?
Nope.
You're being patient with the cigar. You're sitting there, you're relaxing, you have a drink, you're taking slow breaths. It's almost like a meditation. It's a form of therapy. Just
Yep.
sitting there with the cigar.
Yep.
Definitely.
And it's especially, a guy in your position, you're probably on the go, busy, got a million things going on in your head all the time. So when you can get that hour and a half to just sit and not think about anything,
Mm-hmm.
it's
That's hard to do.
I
An hour and
know.
a half into it.
Yeah, well, with the Churchills, maybe you get an hour and a half. I don't know
Yeah.
how fast you smoke, but I got a buddy of mine that goes
I
through
don't
some.
finish a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
it's nice though, like you said though. It brings people together. A lot of meetings now will, go to a cigar lounge,
Yeah.
sit down for.
I was gonna say, you
45
ever have
minutes.
any like negotiation deals with over a cigar?
Yeah, sometimes.
Because I feel like when you do business with cigars,
Mhm.
it kind of unites you, but it lowers the walls a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like how we're talking now, I always say that you do political debates in a cigar lounge because you're relaxed. You're in a more of a vulnerable state in a sense, and you're kind of just conversing with the person across from you, and you're just talking. You're not worried about what they're doing, what they're thinking, because you're relaxed, you're enjoying your time, they're relaxed, you're enjoying your time, and you're just trying to come together and just figure it the fuck out. Because we've made plenty, we've talked to plenty of people over deals, and we, just in my sense for my business, if I walk into there's a few clients that I have that love cigars. So once I tell them I do insurance and cigars, I walked into an office once, mechanical guy, his whole office smelled like cigars, and I said, "Me and you, my friend, are gonna get very, very acquainted with each other."
Well.
I love the camaraderie of cigars.
That's the best.
It brings people together. I have this story with my group of friends. There's like 5 or 6 couples, right? And when I first started hanging out with these people, my wife had met one of the couples through what's that app? Bumble app?
Yeah.
My wife is not from around here. My wife is from Texas. So when she came up here, she's looking for friends. She got on the Bumble app and she found this one friend. And it's funny that she's like, we're gonna go to. We got invited to her boyfriend at the time, his birthday party, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. So I walk in. I have no idea who any of these people are, and you meet them, right? And he comes back from the gun range with he's got freaking strapped up. He's got a bag of rifles and stuff. And he comes in. I was like, hey, I'm Justin. Nice to meet you. My wife. But now, and I was a cigar guy, right? And there was only one other guy in the group that smoked cigars that we met later on. But there's 6 guys in the group, and none of them smoke cigars except for the one. And we would always go to parties or whatever, and I would break away for a little cigar. And I would always ask people, hey, would you like to have a cigar? Like, no. Hey, would you like to have a cigar? No. It's okay. Would you like to? No. But after, a couple of times, the one guy that was smoking, he would come over, we'd have a cigar. And then another guy said, hey, can I try one? I said, yeah, no problem. I'll give you a lighter one. We try a cigar. The next time we come out, another guy would say, hey, can I try a cigar? Yeah, no problem. Try. Now, here we are a few years later. Every single guy in the group smokes cigars. 3 of them have full humidors, stock to the cigars. And then all of them are like, Justin, I want to have your cigars at the wedding. We got to have a cigar. They're always, Justin, what are we doing with the cigar situation? We're going to a barbecue. What's the cigar? How many you bring? I'm going to a bachelor party in Montana. He's like, Justin, how many cigars you bringing? We got to make sure. They're all
hunting in Montana.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things. We're gonna do fly fishing. We're gonna go. I don't know if they set up hunting. It's my buddies. A buddy of mine sent it to me. He's like, hey, these are a list of the things that we're gonna do. What do you want to do? I was like, just sign me up for all of them. I don't care. It's not my bachelor party. Whatever he wants to do, I'm in. All right. It's not.
Send me the link, Mr. Send me the link.
Yeah. I was like, just tell me how much I owe you. I don't care. It's his. But they're all into cigars now, and they go, Justin, dude, I don't know how I wasn't smoking cigars before. This is great. I love it. We can have a male bonding time, right? And I go, yeah, listen. So it's kind of like I got people slowly in. I never forced it.
This is why they threw you guys off of TikTok. You're pushing this on people.
Yeah, listen, hey, but you know what's crazy though too is on YouTube they ask you when you post a video, is this video intended for kids? And we say no every time. Check it off. No, it's not intended for kids.
It's automatically checked off.
It's automatically checked off. It's not intended for kids. This is an adult practice. You have to be an adult to smoke cigars. And then they ban us. And I go, but you asked us if it was for kids. And they go, no, you're targeting kids.
And I actually talked to somebody from YouTube, an employee. We had a constant communication. I said, I don't understand why you're putting this demonetization on us. I said, there are music videos that show violence, guns, sexualization of women,
defund the police,
all this
burning,
stuff.
Rioting, all this stuff.
And I know these videos are being monetized. All we're doing, we're not even saying, hey, buy our cigar. We're meeting with people, different backgrounds, entrepreneurs, athletes, comedians, actors, mobsters, or whatever, and we're just enjoying a cigar within our conversation.
Yeah, you can have these 15-year-old girls shaking their asses, totally fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But then us just smoking a cigar, having a conversation, it's like, nope, can't do that.
It's an uphill battle that we constantly face. But speaking of misconceptions, let me ask you this question.
Sure.
This tequila is fucking delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Each glass is going down.
One of our first times meeting and hanging out, you introduced me to this at Lavo. And it was a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Lavo, that's a good place.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Not there anymore.
So my
it's not there.
Best man, my brother from another mother, him and I've known each other since I was born. He was 2 doors down. He used to run Lavo in Manhattan. And we used to get bottles of this all the time. It was so good. It's just
we'd run up a bill and it'd come back and it's like $2.
I know. Yeah, you run up a bill. It's like $2,500, and I go, Bri, what's the bill? He's like, there is no bill. I'm like, yo, you gotta give something. He's like, all right, give me your card. He runs the card, 1 penny. He's like, here, so now you can put a tip on there. And I was just like, 1 penny. He's like, well, you got to put a tip on the card, but
Classic.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He is
Lavo,
a good guy.
that was the Dream Group, right? That owned Lavo?
Yeah, it's owned by MSG now. It was
the Tao, right?
Tao Group.
Tao Group, right?
Tao Group. They own now. They have MSG, but Lavo's not there anymore. But he's at a different restaurant. But yeah, that's where he introduced. This is like his favorite, dude. He'll suck down his whole bottle, no problem.
Yeah,
because
it goes down easy.
It's like you ever have
too easy.
I know it's people say that's overly priced, but Clase Azul.
Casa Azul, yes.
They say it's overpriced.
It doesn't taste like tequila at all.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I get it. It's expensive. Okay, it's north of $300 a bottle. I mean, maybe $250 if you get the lower one.
I think this is more expensive.
I think it's just as good.
I think this is better.
It's
they taste completely different.
yeah.
Completely
so it's safe to say
different.
you're a tequila guy.
I'm not.
No,
I'm a vodka guy.
You're a vodka guy.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
an
a
Italian vodka guy?
I'm a vodka guy. Yeah, but I was gonna bring a bottle of Tito's.
I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
I'm
you
glad
know
you didn't
what?
because I'm not a vodka guy.
I gotta be honest with you. Tito's is delicious
It is.
for the price. Holy
It is.
shit!
It's a bargain.
Holy!
Yeah.
When I first had Tito's, I couldn't believe it. I said, "This
It's
is
clean.
This is clean,
Yeah.
man." And
I can't stand the taste of vodka.
Really?
I'm a bourbon
There's
guy.
not much of a taste.
That's exactly. I don't like it.
You want the taste. You want the sting.
I like
You want
the-
to know you're drinking.
Well,
something.
you know
I
you
like
do?
the brown
Yeah.
stuff.
no, you do a vodka.
I like
It's
the
a
brown
different
stuff.
drunk though. I shouldn't
Yeah.
say drunk, but it's a different feel.
100%.
Yeah.
You know that brown, like you get hazy.
You turn into
Your eyes get a little.
you turn
heavy.
into a monster, my friend. A monster.
See,
You
I
know
could
what you
drink. I could drink vodka all night.
But you know what? My uncle drinks vodka, and he does vodka gimlets. So if you don't like vodka, try a vodka gimlet. Vodka
I don't
gimlet.
even know what that is.
Vodka
I've heard of
gimlet.
it, but I don't know what's in it.
So it's very similar. This vodka gimlet is lemon and a little bit of sugar.
Okay.
There's a vodka gimlet. Right? Now you can do it with no sugar if you don't want. If you're watching the sugar, put a little lemon in there. You said you like lemon flavor? Put a drop of lemon, like a lemon drop shot. Kind of put a drop of lemon in the vodka. Pretty good.
I was at my cousin's wedding. He was offering lemonade vodkas, and that was actually pretty good.
That's you guys play golf. I know you go to the
Oh,
golf.
yeah,
Play
yeah.
golf.
hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Lemonade and vodka on a golf course in the summer.
Transfusion, man.
Sure.
You
I
play
don't
golf
like-
too?
I get on the course. I would not call myself a golfer by any means.
No, but you golf.
I get out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Same.
matter if you're good or not.
Yeah, no.
You
I'm
get
not-
out there for the vibes.
Yeah.
If
I'm the guy that you want in an outing, a scramble, because 1 out of every 5 I could put at 300 yards.
There you go.
The other 4 are gonna go 200 yards to the left.
Yeah, you're gonna be on 3 holes.
Listen, my
yeah.
friend,
Yeah.
if I can hit 100, it's a good time.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
I like
I'm
smoking
about 100.
cigars.
If
I
I
like-
broke 100, I had a great day.
Yes, 100%. I have a couple good drives, couple good putts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love
That's
golf,
all. That's all I need. You know.
I like to play in a scramble though.
Yeah.
But see, I love the scrambles are the best, and I feel like I swing the best when I'm playing a scramble because it does your shot. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but you have 4 other guys. So it's
Yeah.
like when we were playing one the other day, and we had this older guy that used to be like a scratch golfer or 3 handicap, very good guy. Older now, got a couple surgeries, doesn't really play it well, but he's still like consistent. He does hit the ball far, maybe 200 yards out there, but it's always out there. So he's like, listen, I'm gonna go first, and he just puts a shot out there.
Yeah.
It's 200
So
yards
you're
out
safe.
there.
You're good.
So I'm like, we got something in the fairway. Just swing away.
Let's go.
And all the shots, I'm like, oh, I feel so free. I'm just like, bang, and
No
like I was
pressure.
hitting them, and I go, why can't I swing like this all the time? Because it doesn't. It's like on a driving range. It doesn't really matter. You always get another shot.
That's like when I swing, whether it's a drive, I'm using an iron, and I shank it, and I take another shot, and the second shot's way better. I'm like, why can't I just do
Golfer
it?
B, man. Golfer B's always
Why
better.
fucking do it the first time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just I like to play golf just for the atmosphere, really.
Mm-hmm.
You ever play with somebody that's like really, really good?
Yeah, he's sitting across the table.
No,
from me.
I'm not.
You're a good
okay.
golfer.
Justin's a good golfer. Don't let him
No,
fool
but
you.
like when you play with somebody that's like pro level golf.
Yeah, I sit across the guy who's like almost semi-pro golf. Yeah.
No, stop. If you play with
What,
guys,
what do you shoot? The 70s?
I've hit 70s before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
shoot-
mean, that's a whole different
I
conversation.
shoot
You're at a
like-
different level.
Come on,
I
bro.
shoot like low 80s.
Me and you
most
can
of the
play.
time.
Yeah.
You play with him, you're like, fuck, I suck at golf.
I don't want to play with you.
No, like I'll shoot low 80s.
I'll play
and
basketball with you.
I'll play basketball with you. Let's play basketball. But
I'll tell you a funny story. No, you finish.
well, I was just saying, like if you play with those guys at like pro level, and I'm sitting there playing with them, I go, how the fuck? Like, and they look like they don't even swing. They're like so lazy, bang, and it's just. And they're shaping the ball, and they're like in trouble, but they still get out of it. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna go over the tree with a little draw right through that window. I go, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
And I'm watching. I
Gotta
go,
put the
this.
draw on it.
I'm like, this is. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just consistent. Like if it's got to fit, whatever, consistent. But these guys,
consistency works.
And I'm like, these guys are just unbelievable. And it makes you. Just because you're like, I'm having a good day. I'm shooting low 80s, and they're like, I'm like, what'd you shoot? 71. Like,
yeah, and he's upset.
I feel like you were.
Don't even talk to me.
But I'm sitting there. I go, I feel like we were in
not
this.
Even my
like we
ballpark.
were in the same boat. Like you were in the trouble just as much as me. How the fuck did you shoot a 71? And it's like,
but that's where the score comes, right? Yeah. So when you're 100 yards in, you notice. Are you going to 2-putt?
Never. They never.
That's the difference.
Everything. I'm like, they could be 50 feet away, and it's like they cozy it up and
that's 18 strokes,
dude. It's unbelievable, and I'm just like, you kind of get pissed.
Did you have a funny basketball story? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. So this year, I used to be a good basketball player. I'm going back now, many years, and so I said, look, I want to do this one more time. I still play softball. We won the championship last year, so in my mind, I could still do this at a high level. So I put together a team, and I got 4 guys who are over 40, and I got 3 guys who are in their 20s. Okay. Good ball players. Why the fuck I wanted to do this? First game, guy ruptures his Achilles. 45-year-old guy.
The older guy.
No, actually, he was 50. He ruptures his Achilles. Next game, I did something to my hamstring. Next game, all the over 40 guys in 4 games were out.
Gone.
We were all out in 4 games. Now I got to recruit other guys just to fucking
bring in the
field the team, right? I tried to come back. I got hurt again. I said, all right, this game has passed me by.
Hang them up.
It's passed me by.
Hang them up, man.
To come to that realization is really upsetting.
Yeah.
Hang them up.
I thought that I could do it. In my mind, I could still do this.
You could do the rec league, but when it's
this was rec league.
But you know what? Here comes back to your
I could play with my daughter who's 11. That's the extent of what I got now.
But here comes back to
you could play horse.
I could play horse.
This is the challenge is you always have that dog in you. You have that competitive nature. So you're like, mentally, I'm still competing, but like physically,
couldn't do it no more.
It
sucks.
So you switched to golf.
230 pounds, and just running up and down the court and jumping. It's killing my knees. It's sad. Yeah. Getting old sucks. How old are you guys?
I'm 35.
I'll be 34 next month.
Yeah. All right.
I hung up the basketball days right before COVID. I was in the rec league, and we won the championship in double overtime. I hit a baseline floater for the game winner.
So
won the championship. Haven't played organized ball since.
Got the chip.
I still have the trophy.
A
I was like, I haven't played since. But
no, I wanted to try it one more time.
I kind of wonder. Because I keep myself in shape, but I'm like, I wonder if I still got it.
I think at 35 you could still do it. Come back in 10 years. I don't know.
I just want to go see if I can still dunk. That's it. That's what I just want to say.
Let's test that right now. No, you don't got a basketball hoop anymore.
Bring a hoop. That's like white man can't jump. There's a goal right there. Put your money. I could do it. I just need 3 tries. You ever see that movie?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
The old one, not the new one.
But it's funny because there's always that. I've seen that meme or reel. It says to all my ex, D3 athletes, how's your golf game doing?
Everyone plays golf.
Exactly.
They all just hang out and play golf.
But I wish I could say I'm shooting in the 70s. I'm not even there.
It doesn't. But see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Listen,
matter.
When I play golf, most of the guys I play with, they're like, just like me, like fuck, whatever. But you hit 100 good. When I play with Justin, I'm like, bro, go like a hole ahead of me. I don't want to watch you play because it's like, Justin is just so, he talks like a little game, but he's nice and slow and I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you do that?
Well, that's how it's supposed to be played,
yes,
right?
I know.
Like
it's all mental.
Easy swing, nice. Me, I get up there. I'm
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like a corkscrew ready to. Fuck! I want to hit this thing 400 yards.
But when you connect on that
when
one,
I connect, that's it.
You're like,
That's why I'm the guy you want to scramble.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's it.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But you don't even have. But that's what I love about golf, though. Is you don't have to be good. Like you can have a guy that's a pro. You can have a guy that's he's a good golfer. And then you have 2 guys that are just like average weekend warriors, and you're all gonna have a great time. You're all going to be like, hey, let's have a couple. Okay, the guy that's the pro, he's going to be hammered and shoot a 68. Like, I don't know how the fuck you do that. But you're going to be great. Drinking, smoking cigars. And
it's the same thing.
Yeah, having a
right?
good time.
I'll give you a big fat for instance. I was playing a couple of weeks ago with my buddy Steven from Polis Electric. He invited me to play out in New Jersey, and we met with one of his clients. But he just got like rotator surgery. He's a great golfer. He's like, yo, this guy hits like an 80. He's really good, but he's gonna play, with an injury. He was playing with one arm the whole time, and hitting better than me, and getting pissed because he's like, fucking goddamn. And I'm like, whoa, bro, you are way too hard on yourself. You're swinging with one. Like he's legit like, whoosh, and I'm like, he's like, fucking motherfucker. I'm like, dude,
yeah, I take it too serious then.
You're too hard on yourself.
I'm not that guy.
No.
I'm like, on a golf course, I'm not that guy.
Come on. I'm like, dude, how you
used to
with one hand?
I used to take it like very seriously and get pissed. And I'll tell you, ever since I had a kid, you're just like, I don't give a shit.
I had a roommate.
I'll shank one. I'm like, I'll just go fight him.
I had a roommate that we would go to the driving range.
I had way more fun.
He would get pissed at the driving range. He would start hitting the club on the floor at the driving range. I'm like, dude, we're at the driving range. We're not even playing. You got to take a chill pill. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. I'm out there now to just smoke cigars. I don't care if it's 6:45 in the morning. I remember playing one. It was like 6:45 or 7 a.m. tea time. As soon as we're teeing off, I light one up. And the guys that I'm with weren't guys that it was me and my buddy, and then we got paired up with these others. And they go, smoking a cigar? I said, yeah.
Breakfast.
I go, they're like, okay, kind of like that. Can I have one? I said, yes, you most certainly can. Here you go. I'm like, I didn't know if I was gonna. I was like, yeah, fuck it. I wound up smoking like 3 cigars before noon.
I got a little disappointed when they don't want to smoke cigars. And I'm like, come on, you don't want a cigar? They're like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, all right, whatever.
I feel like that's what you're there for.
100%.
Yeah.
You got to, just like you like plan out your outfit.
They go hand in hand.
Just like the night before you plan out your outfit, what am I going to wear? I got to plan out the cigars.
100%.
All right, I'm going to smoke this one for the front 9. I'm going to smoke this one for the back 9. This is going to be the ass.
You put a little more thought into it.
You know,
I just make sure I have cigars.
He's an engineer by trade, so he's very meticulous, detail
I tell you,
oriented.
I've had a time where I went to the golf course. This was like one of the first times I went out after I had Holden, and I get to the golf course. And the whole ride there, I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I get to the golf course. I open up my bag. I have no cigars. I was like,
dun, dun,
I almost
very uncharacteristic.
I almost didn't want to play. I was like, how am I going to fucking play? What am I going to do? Great. Fortunately,
it's
it was
like
only
forgetting your driver.
I know. I was like, what am I going to do? I felt lost. Huh? I felt lost. Like you ever see Anchorman? Like, I don't really know what to do with my hands. I felt lost. I was almost going to not play.
You might as well just turn around and go home.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Granted, it was only 9 holes, so it was like an hour and a half with no cigar. But
all right, you survived.
I did. But I was like, I don't know.
They didn't have cigars at the course?
Well, you know the cigars they have at the course. It's probably sitting in there since
it's
1995.
Yeah, it's better than other.
They have the Cohibas. They're sitting in there for the last 20 years.
The White House.
And then you pull out the Bovita pack. It's like a brick.
So I wanted to go back to what we were talking about before.
An hour and 40 minutes.
We need tradesmen. We need people that are getting back to being a mason, being an electrician, whatever that may
plumber,
be. And you can make good money.
Mm-hmm.
Very good money.
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like they almost frown upon. They look down upon that.
I feel like
they
it's actually
do,
cool.
and it's unfortunate that that's the case. Like blue collar, like you can make better money doing that than you can. In a lot of things that you have to go to college for, and when you come out of school, and so I would encourage people to explore that more. Project managers, a good project manager or a site super, these guys are making $200,000 plus a year. Mm-hmm. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No,
that's a good living.
Absolutely, you make a career out of this.
I feel like there was a I don't know if it was a meme or a what do they call it, like political cartoon, I guess, where they had said there was this a child, and he was looking at the plumber that came to like fix the house, and he was asking the mom, like, oh, about that, the plumber, blah blah blah, and the mom was like, oh, you don't want to be a plumber, you want to go to school. He never went to school. You want to go to school, go to college, be a degree, right? And then they fast forward or whatever, and they said, college student, $100,000 worth of debt, starting salary $50K, has to work X amount of years to pay it off and eventually get there. And so it's like, plumber, no college debt, starting salary $100K, owns his own business, and everybody, and they, it's kind of the story. But I go, that's a thing. Being a plumber, electrician,
in the game of life,
good money doing that. And you don't have to go to school.
In the game of life, there's a way. You can either go the college way or you go the trade way. I always play. I'm not a tradesman, obviously. I always went the trade way because I'm always like, I don't want to be in debt in this game. I want to win the game. I want to come into the game of life with the most money. I would always go the trade route. Yeah. Simple simplicity.
I've always said this too.
My father, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
My father, when I was growing up in my teenage years and whatever, I told you I went down a different path, right? And I got in a lot of trouble, and I don't think my father
What
had
kind
a
of
lot
trouble?
of faith
What
in
kind of
where,
trouble are we talking about?
and where I was going to end up, right? So he said, learn a trade. You'll always have something to fall back on,
Yeah.
right? So he really didn't think that, there
You
was
take
going to
that
be much.
for sure serious.
So he thought, I was definitely going to end up in prison for a long, long time, or, not where I am. I can tell you that at this point. And he tells me all the time how proud he is now and all of that stuff. But it always stuck with me because he said, learn a trade because you can always have something to fall back on. You're never going to be hungry. And there's a lot to be said for that.
There's always a need for trade people.
And there always will be. Right?
Yep.
AI isn't going to take over that.
No.
And
AI can't install a sink. AI can't
never will be able
redo a
to.
house with the electric of a house. You need to train people.
When I started this company, my partner and I were in the city at an event, and a friend of ours who went to college was, fairly successful at the time. We were still pretty young. And we were in a group of all of these college kids, and they weren't kids at the time. They were, I'd say on the come up, late 20s, early 30s, whatever. And there was somebody who was like a little bit of a wise ass and made a comment like, "Oh, what college did you go to?" "Oh, you didn't go to college." And the bill came, and they're all scrambling, and they didn't have the fucking money to pay the bill.
All the college kids.
All these college kids. And my friend comes over to me. He goes, "Hey, can I borrow a couple dollars?" I said, "This is a true story." And I said, "You want it from us uneducated people? No, you got some Ivy Leaguers over here. You guys can't fucking pay the bill? You want to come to me?"
Did you give it to him or no?
I gave it to him. But I had to make my point.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a fucking point story.
That's when you like, hold on. You go 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. You go.
That's a wild story.
Yep.
That's like this, or I would say
story.
uneducated 100. Uneducated 100. Uneducated 100.
Yeah.
But I've always said that college is meant for certain industries.
Yes.
Okay. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer,
Yep.
if you want to be an engineer, okay, go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would hope that the person that is performing the surgery on whoever went to school and studied the anatomy of the body, practiced for a little while, got the residency out. I get that. But if you want to go into business, you don't need to go to college for business administration. Okay, you know how you learn business? You go doing it. Mm-hmm. My stepfather owned 2 very successful businesses in the printing and advertising. Barely graduated high school. Okay, and got into the industry by walking into this print shop, and they were looking for a job, and they said, "Hey, do you know how to work this printer?" He goes, "Yeah, I can work that printer. Big printers, right?" He said, "Yeah, I can work that." First day in the job, he goes to the guy. He's like, "Listen, I have no idea how to fucking work this. Can you teach me?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll teach you." And he from that point on, working a printer, eventually owned 2 very successful businesses and barely graduated high school.
Yeah.
So that you don't need to go to college to learn that stuff. But if you want to be a lawyer or an engineer or a doctor, go to college.
Absolutely.
That's why that some of those degrees are, what are you going to school for? Liberal arts. Why?
Yeah.
Why? I'm going to school for art history. Why?
I will add one thing to that, though. If you're going to go into business, you should learn some accounting.
Yes.
Right? So take some accounting classes. You don't necessarily
But
need
you don't
a
have to.
degree in
Yeah,
it.
but you don't have to go to. You can take those online or whatever.
However you're going to do
Yeah.
it. But there are certain aspects of being an entrepreneur or a businessman that you should have some classes on. And accounting is certainly one of them. Like,
And
you
the other
need to
thing,
know
too,
what a P&L looks like.
Yeah.
And understand that.
But we had also talked about. You had mentioned books. A couple of books.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many books out there.
For sure.
Go on Amazon, buy a couple of them, read them, and you'll learn about it. You can get, how many accounting books are there? I'm
Absolutely.
assuming 1,000.
Yeah.
Buy a couple of accounting books. Study. Like, what's that movie, Good Will Hunting?
Mm-hmm.
You see Good Will Hunting? When he talks to the Ivy League guy who's in a sweater
about them
vest,
apples?
right? And he goes, and he's saying all this stuff, and he goes, are you just regurgitating, or do you have an opinion of your own? He goes, so you just wasted $100,000 for an education that you could have got for the same cost as a library card?
Yeah.
Because you're just going to regurgitate the books that you've read?
You've watched this movie a couple times.
It stuck with me. I said, that's so accurate. I said,
Yeah.
you go to school to try to learn all this stuff when you could just go to the library, get these books, and study it yourself. But
The scary thing now is that AI will do all of that shit for you in seconds,
Yeah.
which is fucked up for the generation that's coming up, because these kids that are going to be doctors AI is doing all of the studying for them, so that's a little scary. That's a whole different conversation.
I got a story for you. So how much time we got? We'll end it at 7:00. We have 5 minutes. So I was down in. I went down to Texas, where my wife is from. We're visiting some family and some friends, and we met up at this bar with a group of friends. And one of the friends brought a girl that he was dating at the time, and she was still in college. He was always dating some of the younger girls, but she was still in college. And she was talking about how one of the classes that she took, and she had to write like a report on something. She goes, yeah, so I went into ChatGPT and I had it like write me a report, and I got like a C in the class or a B in the class. I said, so you cheated? She goes, no. I used ChatGPT. I helped. It wrote me a report, and then I had ChatGPT kind of like tweak the report a little bit a couple of times, and I submitted. I said, so you cheated? She goes, no. And she tried to convince me. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you're going to go through your college career using ChatGPT to do all of your work. And then you're going to get into the real world and not have a fucking clue what to do without ChatGPT. Wow. I said, so ChatGPT is doing the thinking for you, and you're not going to succeed.
It's not doing you any favors.
I was like, it's not doing you any favors. You're just cheating yourself. Instead of learning the material so that you can create a critical thought about the material, you're using ChatGPT to do that for you. Now, granted, ChatGPT is great when you use it the right way. Okay, like
research.
Like if you're doing some research, like, hey, can you compare this and this and give me a table? And you're like, okay, well, what are the trends in this table? And you kind of keep doing that, and you do some research. But to do your whole report, I'm like, you're cheating. Yeah, like that's cheating, and you're not doing yourself. You're just cheating yourself. And she's like, oh, okay, come back to me in 10 years. Tell me how you doing. Damn. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So
JD,
roll out the red carpet, Eric.
JD, thank you for coming on the Burn Down Podcast.
I hope you had a good time.
We appreciate the last 2 hours of your time.
Yeah.
We like to send our guests off with our signature cheers.
But first, are you gonna roll out the red carpet?
Want to give him the red carpet?
You got to give him the red carpet, man.
At this point of the podcast, he wants to.
I think you have 3 minutes to give.
He's got a big company. He doesn't need to plug away. But as Justin is preluding to, at the end of our episodes, we always like to give our guests the red carpet to plug away where people can find you. Just shamelessly plug what's going on, social medias, websites, however you want to promote yourself.
King's Capital Construction. We're on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram.
I'll give you a cheers sip here.
But what I'm really working on now and proud of is the King's Fund. We're a debt fund, asset-backed lending, hard money lending. That's something that I'm really trying to get off to the next level now. King's Capital Construction is doing all right on its own, and we have the development. So that's where my attention is focused.
So real quick, the lending. What's the goal? You trying to help other entrepreneurs get off their feet? You trying to help businesses get off their feet? Is that kind of
So that started with XCap Realty. I don't know. We didn't really talk much about that, but that's another business that I have that we go after kind of distressed assets, properties, commercial, residential, and I don't flip houses, but there's a lot of people out there that want to get into that business and into that world. So we help educate them. It's very heavily education based on teaching them how to analyze a property, if they want to do fix and flips, all of that from beginning to end. But then I'll fund it for them, right? If the project makes sense, and I'll hold their hand to their first fix and flip and
kind of be their mentor, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Very cool, man. It's kind of all of a platform through XCap Realty.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, JD, we appreciate you, brother. We like to say cheers, chin chin, and salute. My last question to you: what is the most frustrating trade to work with? Go.
Plumbers.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening.